How's everyone doing? I'm hot and annoyed, to be completely honest with you. I don't know what fucking we talking sexy dragon ass. Okay, we're talking about sexy dragon asses. That's what we're gonna talk about. Like not dragon dildos. Wait, Gerbil, you're a you're a lady, right? So shouldn't we talk about dragon dildos and shit?
Cherable is a woman.
Yes, Gerbil is a woman. No. Okay, so we can't talk about dragon dildos, so we're gonna talk about dragon asses. Okay. Can it be? We are keeping civil. All right, we're keeping it civil. Yeah, Gerbil is a woman who apparently wants to talk about sexy kobolds and dragon asses. Let me get a link to the actual thing I'm broadcasting so people can come in here and we can talk about sexy dragon asses and
Send me the
not
link. I'll tweet it out.
okay. Let me see. This is all right. Oh shit! I'm retarded. I kept the I have a test tag that I just put up like a placeholder tag that I named fuck randomly one day, and it just said, and I completely forgot to change it to something that wasn't fucking juvenile as hell. It just says fuck. That's the name of this video. It's just fuck.
That's quite pretty awesome. Like we don't give a fuck, so we are talking. It's
Alright.
appropriate. Why is Cherable not talking?
Alright. Oh, Gerbil. Alright. Hold on. Gerbil. Wait. Hold on. Gerbil is probably saying something. Oh, I'm joking. Gerbil. You can explain it, Gerbil, because I don't want to say it because it'll sound retarded if I say it because I don't have any real tact or way to pronounce it or way to say things without sounding retarded. Alright, hold on. Okay. I'm my own viewer. That's really sad. Let's see. Oh, I'm literally mute. That's why.
Oh,
Alright, I guess I could have just said I'm literally, as in vocally disabled.
for real?
Yeah. Like, Comicsgate attracts everybody. Waiting on a plugin. Oh,
Oh,
okay. Oh, okay. Grim is waiting on a plugin, and that's his thingy here. Hold on.
it's quite awesome to have like people from different.
Yeah, we're like super diverse. You got like a
Yeah,
black guy, an Indian guy, like a mute girl who likes dragons, probably in a really adult way.
how
Uh,
old is Cherable, by the way?
what's up?
How old is she?
Lesbian Scottish mute. Nah. How old are you? Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you by the way. How old are you, Gerbil? It says 13, so but I don't 35. All right, Gerbil is 35. I think you're pretty young, right? Right, FP.
I think I am the youngest one here. I am 22.
You're 20. Jesus Christ. You're like a baby. You're like a baby, FP.
How old are you, Karam?
I am. I don't want to say because it feels embarrassing. It's embarrassing. I'm under 35, but not by much. I'm saying that because that makes me feel less old and sad.
We have quite old people in our community. Sasha is like a grandma.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, you're right. She is. She's like a fucking grandmother.
Like that. That's
Okay.
the joke every time I tell her that Sasha, you're a grandma.
Okay. Let me. Okay. Now I just need to. All right. I have no fucking clue how to. Okay. Links. How do I? I need to add. I need to add Grim now because he gave me his email and he's waiting on a plugin. Okay,
So,
what's up? Oh,
is Gerbil an artist?
is Gerbil an artist? Are you an artist, Gerbil? Like besides making pretty funny, memes like Fat Panther, are you an artist? Okay, I sent it. I'm a shit artist. I don't know. I think both of you are great artists in your own way. Like Fat Panther is a meme artist. Like, dude, your memes get like more. Your memes get more views than some people's videos, man. I
That's
mean,
the art of photoshopping.
and yeah, like, and yeah, are you an artist? Yeah, you're an artist, aren't you? Like Gerbil?
Who,
Like, you're
me?
not a shit. Yeah, I was asking Gerbil if she's an artist. Like, you're not
Oh,
a shit artist, Gerbil. You're a good artist. Kind of. Okay, so Grim is in Hangouts now, and I sent him the link. I'm a known I'm kind of a known entity. That can mean anything. Like, do you make like a lot of weird furry art, Gerbil? Is that what's going on?
because I think I've seen some art done by Gerbil. I think.
But like, I don't know. Like both of your memes are funny, but like FP, like your memes are hilarious though. Man. No, I pop in and you. I what the hell is that? Like rewrite that because I don't even know what the fuck you just said. It says you said. I can't read that. It's like I pop in a hole, or at first I thought that said I poop in a hole. I'm like, that can't possibly be what you just wrote. Maybe I don't know. Oh, so
Dyslexic.
oh my God, you're dyslexic. I'm sorry. God damn, I feel like an asshole now.
It's
God
okay.
damn,
I have ADHD as well.
Jesus Christ. Oh no, don't be sorry. Don't be sorry, Gerbil. I'm not that awful of a person. Kind
I have ADHD as well.
of. All right,
So,
all right.
so
But
it's
no.
hard for me to concentrate on like multiple things at a time.
Okay, hold on. He's okay. I'm gonna resend him this link and see if it works for him. Okay. Does this work for you? Does this work for you? Like this is so bad. And that isn't what sank the Titanic. And ADHD ADHD isn't that what sank the Titanic? Yeah. That and like a shit ton of ice cubes. Like alright, so like FP, what you been up to? Besides just work mostly? And Gerbil, what y'all been
Yeah.
up to anyway?
And an interesting fact about the Titanic, I have recently read something that there was a fire that was going on underneath the Titanic for weeks, and that was the reason that it sunk.
Oh shit. Oh, Gerbil, I was asking what are you and Fat Panther up to? Like you said OCD, it's easiest 132. I was asking what are y'all both up to and shit. Let's see. What the fuck is that? Like Jesus fucking Christ. Oh, nothing. Let's see.
So,
What's up?
why isn't Grim joining us?
I have looking for a Sunday D&D game. I have no idea. I'm not sure why he's not able to get into the hangout. I'm trying to get him in here, but I'm not sure why. This is random.
No, I
Okay, looking. All right, Gerbil is going to give us a random. Oh fuck! Hey, Grim is here. What's up, Grim?
Sorry, it took me a minute. My computer's being a bitch.
No problem. All right, so Gerbil also wants to know how do you feel about kobolds? Do you think they're sexy? Fat Panther is mixed on this, and I am too.
That depends. What art style kobold are you using?
I guess like D&D.
If we're going by the D&D version, that means they're well, let's see here. There's like 30 different species of kobold, man. Some look more human than others, and some are more intelligent than others.
Like, I like how Grim is taking this nightmare to a very analytical place. It's like,
and then on top of that, some of them actually just look like humans with animal heads.
So did anybody watch the new Ocean's 8 movie?
oh,
I heard that it is quite like the new Ghostbusters with all female cast.
Ocean's 8?
You know,
I haven't watched
I'm
it
gonna
yet.
watch it.
After watching Ghostbusters, I refuse to watch anything that like it consists of mostly female cast because I know that's going to suck and it will promote an agenda.
The Titanic, or Gerbil said the Titanic had 20,000 tons of mayonnaise going to Mexico, but it sank to this day. They have a remembrance sink of tomato.
Really, Gerbil?
That is, I love you, Gerbil. You're hilarious. Anyway, like,
So did nobody see Ocean's 8?
No. Honestly, there's a point with certain things where I read about the movie, look who's directing it at this point. I won't even touch it with a 10-foot pole. I watch more anime now than I do TV shows because how bad TV's become.
every time I kind of want to watch, I don't want to watch Ocean's 8 mostly because I just was never really into the Ocean's movies, so I don't really give a fuck.
So
But
I was totally into the Ocean movies. I watched all of it.
I think I saw Ocean's 11. That's the one with
7
Tom.
and 12 and 13, I guess. There were 3 or 2, if I remember.
As a straight white man, I am not allowed to have an opinion of the shit we did not see. Terrible. I'm sorry.
Really corrupt. I'm you know.
That is really sexist. I'm sorry, Terrible.
Corrupt. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes.
I find that very offensive. As a straight white male, but sad. It's sad but true. Because if I did say something, everyone gets pissed off. It's like, oh, white boy said something. Wait, he's straight. Oh, you can't have your own opinion.
Gerbil.
And as I like to say to all those people, they can go fuck themselves.
Gerbil,
So
what
I
is?
So I remember we were talking about this guy who was telling us like we should like Kamala Khan, but then we replied to him that we don't like it. Do you remember that?
I do actually. I want to ask Gerbil what she thinks of they're doing that with Captain Marvel. All right, I forgot. Gerbil, what do you think about Ocean's 8? Because like it kind of because Gerbil got skipped. Do you want to watch that?
I think Gerbil silence tells all.
All right. It was that terrible. All right.
Gerbil's like, I can't unsee it. And since I cannot speak, I cannot scream.
Shit.
See, I love Sandra, but this is a cheap chop-in. See, Gerbil wanted to scream at the damn TV.
All right, someone else is here. Edgar from the server.
No.
Oh crap!
What's up,
I
Edgar?
logged in on the wrong account.
Edgar, are you PewDiePie's dog?
So like really it is a cheap cash in. I mean if they just make female oriented versions of something for like a quick buck and that's it.
Well, it's like with the Ghostbusters, man. If they would have just done the passing of the torch, it would have been good. But no, they had to redo everything and screw the pooch.
And on top of that, they had to have the original cast of the Ghostbusters show up in the shitty cameos.
Exactly.
That pissed me off.
Also,
do you guys remember the cartoon for Ghostbusters from like the 90s, 2000s?
90s.
I remember that.
The new Ghostbusters?
Yeah, Extreme Ghostbusters. Yeah, Extreme.
Yeah, where they're passing on the
It had the most politically correct cast of characters you've ever seen, but they didn't shove it down your throat.
Yeah,
there was a disabled guy in a wheelchair, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah,
They had a
Alright.
black guy. They had an Asian girl. It was great.
I'm not sure
It
that
was-
chick was Asian. I think she was goth. I'm not
Yeah,
sure
she
if
was a
she's
goth
Asian
girl,
at
and they had
all.
a white guy in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
It's not unknown to have a female heist movie. Extreme Gerbil. What was the female heist movie? Because you're right, there was a female heist movie. I just can't remember what it was.
Hold on, I'll go look it up.
All right. Also, yo, what's up? Fuck, Edgar. Who the fuck are you from
I'm
Discord?
Lynx.
You're who?
Lynx.
Oh, that explains the cat. Okay. Fucking retarded. So don't worry about it.
Yeah, this is not my usual streaming account.
Well, I'm guessing the female heist movie is Ocean's 8 because when I
Yeah.
typed in female heist movie, it gave me Ocean's 8.
They're like, okay. How about has anyone seen The Incredibles 2? Does anyone
No.
want to see The Incredibles 2?
I do want to watch it
I
actually.
haven't seen it yet.
I
I think it'd be
don't
funny.
really get what's the hype behind Incredible 2 because I didn't like the Incredibles movie the first time when it came out. The part 1 of the Incredibles, I didn't like that.
I loved The Incredibles. I actually want to go see The Incredibles too.
Also, since you just entered Cobalt, Gerbil has a question for you. Do you think kobolds are sexy or not? That is Gerbil's question.
Kobolds? No,
Yeah.
no, I do not.
I agree.
I had to give the politically correct answers. The token white guy.
He did. He gave the most safe,
I know.
non-judgmental.
I think they're
answer
fucking
I've-
ugly, nasty, smelly, drooling creatures. That if you tried to stick anything in them, they'd probably bite it off. There you go. That's my
I
answer. That's my non-politically correct answer.
Like Grimm gave the most non-discriminate, like the most non-judgmental, politically correct answer someone could possibly give.
I have
Well-
a lot of practice from working from the U.S. government for many years.
So between Infinity War and Deadpool 2, which one do you
Infinity
think
War
was better?
sucked balls, and Thanatos, unfortunately, was the only one I could actually get behind. He was the only person that seemed actually real out of all of them. You could actually get behind the giant Hitler's reasoning on what he was doing.
I don't really get the hype behind the Infinity War.
No, I'm
What?
saying the only character that was actually written halfway decently was Thanos. That's it. All the other ones are crap.
But what will they do about Mistress Death because they don't have the rights to that, I guess. Fox has the rights to Mistress Death.
Didn't you know Disney just bought out Fox, man? Disney's taking over the world.
So it got confirmed. They
I
didn't-
heard Comcast brought Fox.
I don't think it has anything to do with the rights with Fox or anything like that. Like they could have made more allusions to it. They made a really big allusion to it at the end of the Avengers in 2012. But a friend of mine pointed out to me a really good reason as to why they wouldn't involve Mistress Death, which was basically China. Because they want the movie to do really well in China, and Mistress Death, being this skeletal figure, would be very much on the wrong end of China's policies.
Oh yeah, right. They did that in fucking League, where there was this character called Karthus who was like a skeletal monster man.
Yeah, they
But-
did it with World of Warcraft too. They didn't get
Yeah.
Wrath of the Lich King for a long time because they had to completely redo all the assets for all of the zombies.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they just don't show skulls and shit. Yeah, that actually makes
Well,
sense.
that's because China likes their hopping zombies.
Oh my god, fucking D&D reference. Isn't God
It's not a
damn.
D&D reference. It's a mythology reference.
Oh, you're talking
They
about
actually have hopping
I
zombies
thought
in
those were
mythology.
I thought those were vampires.
Zombies, vampires. Does it really matter? Honestly,
True.
they're not
But
what
do
I
you
consider
think
a
that
vampire. If you're looking at
Thanos
the,
will be Thanos if there is no Mistress Death involved in his backstory. I don't think that.
Oh right, I'm
They're
fucking
canon,
retarded.
yeah.
I know what you're talking about. You're talking about those I forgot what those zombies are called. They wear they have those talismans on their face
yep.
and they hop around and shit. I know what you're talking about. I'm fucking retarded.
Now, if you're talking about their zombies, those are cheaters. Those make like the friggin' stuff from Europe look like little bitches.
Oh wait, so let's go back to Incredibles 2 for a second because I kind of want to see it since like it makes Thanos a whiny beta. Also, it makes Thanos a whiny beta if they include death. So I think Gerbil is glad they didn't include death.
I disagree.
They're
I don't think it
losing-
makes him a
they're
whiny
losing lot
beta
of the
because,
story.
look, throughout history, wars have been started over the love of a woman.
China, all over Europe, Asia, hell, the United States. If you really want to think about it, there's been a lot of mini wars fought between clans in the South. Duels fought. But let's face it. Oh, let's even look at Africa. A shit ton of wars was fought over women.
Would he be
Well,
the Mad
well,
Titan if Mistress Death is not in his backstory? Would he be called the Mad Titan?
Gerbil, this is hilarious. Gerbil said, "Why won't she call me back?" Frenzo.
Uh,
Oh, I thought she was talking about the Mad Titan. That's why he's
Yeah,
on
she
50.
was, I think she was talking. Yeah, she was talking about Thanos. Like he was friend zoned by death, apparently.
Well, that's because Deadpool's so much better than the Mad Titan.
Like I can't believe that's actually canon. Is that actually canon?
Yeah, that Deadpool's dating Death and Thanos got friend zoned by Death. Yes, and he's all
And
bitchy about
Thanos
it.
cursed Deadpool with immortality.
I don't blame you, Gerbil. They've been shoving Deadpool down everybody's throats.
Also, links in case you're trying to. In case okay, so Gerbil like can't talk, so we're looking at the chat and looking at
Yeah.
All right,
yeah, I figured that one out.
all right. I'm sick of dead.
So you want either the Imperium or do you want the Death Heads from Rift's Palladium marching around in their
Death's
full
Head
armor?
is a cosmic character.
Oh, because Death Heads are in two different pen and paper games. That's why I was saying that.
Death's Head is I think he's a robot. He's some sort of a mercenary. I have another friend from our server who's got this mad respect and love for this character. Refers to him as a boy, as like a wrestling term. Like, are you familiar with the concept of a boy from wrestling?
Say that over again, because you cut out for me.
Ah, shit. Not important. Moving on.
No, you said something about wrestling, and then you cut out.
Oh, shit. Okay. So in wrestling, there's a term, and the term is boy. And in wrestling, a boy is a wrestler who is not particularly well loved, and
Are we talking
is
pro wrestling?
and doesn't really have a successful career, but you're a fan of him, and you're also like unashamedly a fan of him, even though there's this certain element of cringe to the character where most other people would be ashamed of being a fan.
Oh yeah, I can see that. It's like
Yeah.
Is it a pro wrestling term? Or is it like a normal wrestling term?
yeah,
It's a general wrestling term.
I haven't heard that term before. That's interesting.
See, I'm not into that whole luchador and WWE thing. I did Olympic style wrestling. That's real wrestling.
Really? Come on. You don't like seeing men like fly around and mask and shit?
No.
Just because WWE is predetermined on the outcome doesn't mean it's not real.
Oh, I'm not saying
okay,
that
sure.
it's not good acting in actual heavy duty physical. I've got friends that used to do that stuff. One of them's a retired wrestler who actually runs pen and paper games with me.
The thing is that the WWE people, they take themselves too much seriously. That's the problem, and everybody knows that everything is fixed.
Like the only thing is that the matches are predetermined, but like everything else is physical. I think we all agree on that, though. So I don't think there's any real disagreement with that.
No,
Except,
it's actually a good show. I'm not gonna lie. Except you do have the once in a blue moon thing where they go off script and get pissed at each other and beat the ever loving tar out of each other.
oh yeah, I've seen that. That shit is. I remember there was.
If you have a good storyline, like two guys feuding over something, then that's it. It gets really interesting.
Yeah, like I think what is his name? Big Pop. Like Links will know. I think y'all will know who I'm talking about. Like Rick Stein. Is it Scott Steiner?
Scott Steiner.
Yeah, he got.
Big Baba Pump.
Yeah, he's gotten pissed before and just beaten the shit out of people. Like nobody
So I
wants to
used to
fuck
be
with
a
him because,
huge wrestling fan back when I was a kid.
like, look at his fucking arms. They like his veins look like snakes.
That's
And
from
everybody
Roy.
is on steroids.
That's
Like,
from Roy. Well, no, you do got some people that aren't like that. Okay, I grew up in a farm area, and even when I was in the service, I know guys and gals that are just giant cock diesel people that are mutants. Okay, that biggest I ever was like 250 solid muscle, and I was a big boy. Okay, but when I run into a chick that's like, I'm 6'2", and this chick was like 6'7" and weighed 350 pounds and no roids whatsoever, all natural bodybuilding, and made most men look smaller than a couple people. That's scary. I used to box with her. Not a fun day. Luckily, I was fast.
all right, so
Gerbil, can you repeat that? Since you're giving us your body stats here.
all right,
5'11",
5'11". I'm just tall, 5'11". Like
Gerbil's
that's
like, what?
you know what's really sad? That's taller than me.
Hey, everybody likes tall women. They got
I'm,
legs going forever.
She's taller than me. Yeah.
she's taller than me, man. I feel.
I'm 5'10".
Yeah, I'm 5'10" too. Links, how about you?
6'3".
Jesus
genetics.
Christ.
I used to be 6'4", but when I had back surgery, I lost 2 inches.
Yeah, that
Jesus
sounds about
Christ.
right.
You're both
My Asian genetics.
you're both giants.
Oh no, I'm not a giant. You should see the rest of my family. I'm the short guy. I'm not even joking. I'm the short one in my family.
I believe you.
Other than the women, all the women are short little midget people, and the rest of my family's like 6'7", 7 foot tall, look like Sasquatches.
Like Links, how about you? How tall is your family?
My brother's 6'1". The rest of my family are under 6 foot.
Oh wow, so you're just the only really tall one then?
Yeah, basically.
Hell, my grandfather was a monster at 6'6".
Damn.
Like Nurkish is like something crazy. Like he's like 6'5" or 6'7" or some shit.
No.
Isn't he like
He-
really tall?
He is just. It is just his persona. In real life, he is like 4 foot, I guess.
All right, let me see. Even me, then I transform Cybertron from Decepticon for life.
Nurkish is a midget who's pretending to be a tall guy to
So
hide his insecurities.
Gerbil transforms into a giant gun since she's a Decepticon for life.
Let me see, Mechanoid. Be politically correct, and he is a freelance peacekeeping agent. Hey, Death's Head is a badass. He punched Megatron. All right. I didn't even know there was
Yeah, they did several crossovers.
Transformers used to be under Marvel for a while before it went to IDW.
How was it under Marvel? Was it alright?
Okay,
From what I understand, it was actually all right.
do you guys remember the movie Orgasmo? Because Gerbil saying gerbil form, it just makes me think of Choder Boy from Orgasmo.
So what's
no, no offense, Gerbil.
the problem? What's everybody else up to anyway?
I'm trying to figure out why Civ 6 isn't working on my Linux distro.
Really, it should be.
It should be, but it's not. Like, I can get it to start, but for some reason, when I go to create game, all of the menus are blank, and I can't click any buttons to get out of that screen.
Sounds like you might need a graphics driver update. I had that happen.
No, my drivers are up to date. It's weird. I don't get it.
Okay, so There's this.
I'm running Kubuntu 18.4 for reference.
There's this.
Oh, okay.
There's this game I wanted to fucking this MMO.
I'm using Linux with a Windows overlay, so
Yeah, I'm actually doing it through Unraid virtualization, so that may or may not have something to do with it. But
I think that might. I'd go with the overlay if I were you.
Yeah.
It's more stable, and then you just keep a backup in case you get a nasty virus, and then you just delete the one and
I'll take it into consideration, but I might just end up installing Civ on my Windows VM instead.
Mm.
Just play Fortnite.
Let's play Fortnite.
No, I can't stand Fortnite. You know, it was a great game when they were doing the whole thing where you could go through and do the MMO aspect of it, and I didn't mind the whole multiplayer thing going on, but they need to finish the rest of the game.
Now every other game is a battle royale game. I'm getting sick of this concept of battle royale.
Yeah, like the new COD is a battle royale too, isn't it? Or it has a battle royale mode.
It has a battle royale mode, from what I understand. It's the standard pattern with the industry. They latch on to, they see one indie game that's massively successful, and then they all say, "Oh shit, we need to do that." And every one of them has the exact same idea at the same time, and so you get this oversaturation of the genre.
It's like with the zombie games and everything else. You know,
Yeah.
I don't mind some of the indie producers because they're actually coming up with some novel stuff. What I get pissed off with is when everybody wants to do the same thing and they just make a cheap knockoff.
So everything is about the exact. So now everything is the exact same game, and it just collapses the genre because everyone's doing it.
It's not even the exact same game. It's a crappy version of the game.
Yeah.
I love playing PUBG, and I hate playing Fortnite.
All right. Well, it's kind of sad. Let me see. It's trying. Let me see. It's kind of sad what happened to fucking PUBG. It's kind of sad what happened to PUBG because
PUBG died on PC, but it's still like it's the #1 game if you play on mobile devices.
it used to, like its Twitch views are fucking awful now because of what happened with Fortnite.
Yeah, because of the
PUBG
lawsuit.
Mobile is
Yeah.
like really popular now.
Yeah, it's always a dumb idea to try to sue a larger company for quote-unquote stealing your game design. Especially considering that genres would not exist without people quote-unquote stealing game designs.
Yeah.
I think it's funny when people want to say that they're, you know, honestly, let them take your game design. It's not that big of a deal. If they're going
Imitation is the sincerest form of flattery.
Exactly. Then you just make a better game. It just makes competition better.
Yeah, also, like, Fortnite is kind of its own thing anyway, because, what's up, England team? Alright, like,
Fortnite has shitty game mechanics.
yeah, like, Fortnite, yeah, exactly. Fortnite has, like, a Minecraft sort of hybrid thing going on anyway.
And there is like a luck-based system. If you shoot at somebody, then it will generate some random amount of like damage points. And I think that is very shitty of them.
Novel comics, you really need to work on fixing the comic book industry. That's all I got to tell you.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys catch Ethan Van Sciver's stream last night?
No, I missed it.
England team actually told us, like, we need to watch it because it's inspiring.
You need
Absolutely
to watch it.
inspirational.
It's a fucking
It really
rallying
is.
cry. Beautiful.
It truly was, yeah. There was it was just come together, guys. This is and it's I forgot the name of the couple, but
the Brightwisers.
The Brightwisers, yeah. The young lady there, she was attacked on Twitter, and it was kind of like, look, you know, this.
Yeah,
this
by
shit can't-
Nakatomi Tim of all fucking people.
God,
Baring
you
needs
know,
to do more videos on that guy.
I gotta say, I've never seen somebody who wasn't deformed yet still looked gross. You know what I mean? You know, like, and by that I mean, like, you know, you could look at the elephant man and go, I'm sorry, man, but damn. But Tim Doyle looks gross. Like, it just looks like an unpleasant human being to be around.
Dude, I've met people from my experiences where Tim Doyle, I know a guy that makes Tim Doyle look like a supermodel. Okay, and the guy's not deformed at all. He's just short, really freaking hairy, smells super bad. I know for a fact that the guy doesn't get off his computer and there's literally bottles of excrement and stuff all over the place.
Also,
He got kicked out of the service for that.
Yeah. I just assumed, like, if I ever met Tim Doyle, I would have to shower afterwards. Just for saying hello.
Greasy. He does look greasy. Like if you were to touch him, it would be like touching Crisco grease or something.
So you're saying if I were to light a cigarette next to him, I'd probably burst into flames.
I think he might. I feel bad, Gerbil. I'm not trying. Like, I'm sorry if it feels like I'm like not responding to you. By the way, for that.
Gerbil, why do you feel bad? You're our favorite gerbil person.
Gerbil can't talk, so like I have to translate. So I have to basically like read.
Yeah, I keep looking at Gerbil's stuff too every time she says something, trying to keep up.
Yeah, and I keep forgetting that like we're not in like a private conversation. Like we're not on like Discord.
You look like a cheap cobalt bacon sandwich. Gerbil, you don't look like a cheap cobalt bacon sandwich.
Cobalt.
Wait, oh yeah, Engleton. Since I didn't ask you this, are you interested in seeing The Incredibles 2?
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Gerbil's like the sexy locksmith thief from D&D.
Yeah, like.
Yeah, The Incredibles was a great movie. It's one of the best superhero films ever made. I'm looking forward to the sequel.
I wanted to see, like, I know Ethan said, like, Ethan said he wasn't sure if he wanted to see it, but
sexy or not. Really,
Yeah.
Gerbil?
Hold on.
Gerbil, do you have a furry fetish?
Yeah, okay, for people who don't know, Gerbil thinks that kobolds are sexy. I don't. Oh yeah.
Well, I guess that depends on how the artist draws them. Honestly.
Okay, basically, for people who don't know, a kobold is a lizard thing. It's a lizard person.
That depends on whether it's D&D.
Oh my god, no! None of
it's
this,
either
like,
a lizard thing or it's a like a hyena thing.
Oh my god, fine. It's either I have a I'm bored.
If I could post in this what a kobold looks like right now, I would.
Let me see. Okay, hold on. Let me see if I can share screen so people can see what the hell a fucking kobold looks like. Which means I have to get rid of all the porn. Shit. Like this is just horrible. Like, hold on, Gerbil, you're into Mark Zuckerberg. What the fuck?
Oh, okay.
What the fuck are y'all talking about right now?
Here we go. I got a kobold pick for Gerbil.
All right, let me see. I can just put it on your screen.
I'll put it in the other discussion things for. I'll put the official art or fan art on the other.
All right, hold on. I need to. Let me see if I can share screen here, which means I'm gonna just kill all these fucking tabs, and I'll just open a new one.
I just put it in the other chat for.
I was gonna do it.
Your porn tab.
I was gonna do it for everybody on here for the 5 people that are watching, so they can see what the hell a kobold looks like. Nasty, ugly, little evil-looking things that. Well, let me share screen. Okay, there shouldn't be any porn on here, so I should be okay. I think.
Here's a standard kobold image from one of the D&D books for reference, and then I have someone's fan art.
Okay, application window. Here we go.
I posted it up on there.
All right, can anybody see my screen right now?
Yeah.
When you look at the stream, okay. So there we go, right here. This is what a kobold looks like for people who don't know what the hell. For people who are wondering what the hell we're talking about. There, an England team can tell us.
Jurassic Park region.
An England team can tell us what he thinks when he comes back. What about this is sexy?
Okay, yeah, I'm not into the whole furry animal thing.
See, exactly. They're not sexy.
Although, what's her name? What's her name from V? Well, she was a lizard woman.
From what?
But yeah, what's her name from Z? But that's the girlfriend from Deadpool.
Oh,
she was a lizard woman, and so, yeah, nail her, but not while she was lizardy.
Only smarter. Yep. Like Gerbil thinks we're heretics because we don't want to fuck kobolds. See, it's not just us. It's you and Fat Panther. Maybe both of you are deviants. Yeah. So like, what's going on? Anybody? What's going on with everybody?
Well, I just took a break from doing videos to go on a Twitter rant about some guy who, with some guy who was insulting Nerd Wonder. That was fun.
Oh, that dude was a fucking asshole. Oh my god, like Nerd Wonder
is stupid.
So how that started? So Nerd Wonder tags me because like for my opinion, and then I guess the dude looked at who I was after Nerd tagged me, and then basically said like I was an idiot because I have like a cartoon avatar and all this other shit. It's like, this dude's a fucking troll. Like, I felt stupid for fucking bothering arguing with this person because it was just a shit poster.
Well, dude, seriously, look at my avatar.
Yeah,
I'm using a friggin' pumpkin I carved.
The guy Lenny.
Yeah, that's it, Lenny. That's
because
the guy.
I made a joke. Lenny is an appropriate name for you. If that person will understand the reference, but both of them actually. Everybody who was arguing with Nerd Wonder and whoever the other guy was would moral situations. Well, if you believe in this, like that, but they never adhere to the same thing. Like if they believe in this, then they must act like this. It's a very common debate tool that I see used on. By the way, during that during EVS's live stream last night, the Beatrix's the gentleman mentioned that Comicsgate is the controversy, and then you're which is their side, and the Gate Crasher, which is our side. And I was like, oh shit, we need to run with that. I dig that.
Gate Crashers, basically.
Comics Gators, call us the Gate Crashers. Maybe particular thing that was. But,
they corrupt.
It just killed me because on that side they always use that thing. Why aren't you telling Richard C. Myers that he's a bastard for saying this? And we're like, you spent 6 tweeting what Mags Visaggio and what Tim, what's his fucking name, did. You're not living by the same rule.
Yeah, what's
Say
up?
Again?
Fat Panther asked me a question. What's up, FP? Also, England, can you log drop out and then drop back in because you're roboting a little bit, and that usually fixes it when you do that.
Okay.
And
just so you know, if you look at Kobold Pussy kobolds, if I'm remembering right, they actually look like hyena people.
All right. Kobold Pussy. That's disturbing. What's up, FP?
Nerd Wonder is saying that she wants in.
Okay, hold on. Let me just see if I can find it.
And it's SDR Kobold race from D&D Wiki. Yeah, they look like they're hyena people.
Hey, this is Gerbil. You are a deviant. All right, let me see if I can find Nerd. All right, here we go. Put on, let me see. Twitter is toxic anyway. Like Twitter is fucking toxic, man. I hate bitching about it all. Like I did not want my channel to have any of this stupid Twitter bullshit on it, but fuck me, I'm tired of this shit.
Dude, there's a reason why I don't use Twitter. I don't use Facebook. I don't use half that crap. And yes, I am blonde. Gerbil, if you're wondering.
Blonde-haired, blue-eyed white man. You are the
green,
oppressor.
thank you.
You're still the oppressor, though.
I'm also the minority in the world too. Thank you.
That's true. You are the minority here.
I'm the minority in the globe.
That's right. Let me see. Let me see if I can get England team back.
Oh, it's our nerd wonder.
What's up, nerd?
So
Nerd.
I heard that you guys were talking about the
So nerd, Gerbil asked you a question. She asked if you think kobolds are sexy.
cobalts. It depends on what version of cobalts, because
Thank
sometimes
you.
rat
Thank you.
people, sometimes lizard people, or sometimes dog people, and they're all
hyena
furries.
people,
But there
yeah.
are certain forms of furries that are kind of hot. Okay, just being honest. We all thought Chitara was hot, so there is obviously a level of furry that's fine.
I agree. Chitara was hot.
Okay.
All right. Let me see. Is E back yet?
Yep.
You know,
And
what
you know what?
Nerd's not telling us, she's got a genetics lab in the basement and she's making herself a furry.
All right. Okay. Wait. England team. What did you say?
I was about to say I kind of thought Tigra was hot in the Avengers.
Yeah,
role,
she was hot.
So I guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, you're not roboting anymore. So yes.
And let's not forget the full cat version of Selena Kyle from the comics.
Wait, when she became like an actual cat monster thing?
Yeah.
You people are degenerates, all of you.
No, I'm just gonna
Oh,
stick with Tiger.
no.
Tiger's the only one that ever was like, oh, okay, yeah.
I mean, Chitara
like-
from Thundercats was sexy.
In Wolvesbane and the New Mutants when in the 90s, nope, never did it for me. But yeah, Tiger, yeah.
Yeah,
So
she was attractive. Yeah, she was attractive. I can't even. Also, there was this Avengers cartoon I think she was on. It was like it was like it had like Ultron as the villain. It was like super toyetic, but yeah, like she was hot.
There's like, speaking of, I know you guys were talking about the tweets earlier that I was thinking to spade on. Tim Doyle has joined the tweets.
He
Wait,
got into
what?
the fucking tweets, really?
Yeah, he's on the tweets now.
Oh, wow, that should be fun.
What? He's on the tweak now?
He's on the tweet list now, actually.
Got it.
Yeah,
He's on the
he
he's
actually
on the
is
tweaker
replying
list.
to it and everything. He's like, he's being whatever, and I have to go find him now, or whatever. Not fight
I
him.
think he has me blocked. Let me see. Yeah, he has. He has me blocked.
Yeah,
So-
the guy that started it, one of them, he's like, I'm friends with him. He's not very big into comics gate or anything, but I think he said something that started this all, and then a bunch of, anti-confiscators and us confiscators went into a fight in there, and he pretty much admits in the middle of it, I think Tim Doyle's an asshole, and he needs to F off. Kind of like
the Wizard of Id, right?
yeah.
You know what's weird? That guy follows me.
Yeah, well, I talked to him, and he's realized that a lot of us aren't jerks, so he'll follow you if he thinks you're fun and cool. That's his
Like this one piece of trash, Lenny, is fucking.
Lenny's crazy.
Look, man,
That-
I'm gonna give you some sagely advice from an old man.
Narcseed is my own personal troll that was born to just mess with me, and yeah. So,
All right, Lenny, like that. So that dude apparently got reported or something, and his account got reported by Twitter, and then he blamed me for it. It's like
what? What do you do? Is it because of the statements about? I don't know what he said that would have.
Like I don't even know. He got reported by Twitter or something, and then he blamed me. And then the other one who used the Scrooge McDuck as a fucking avatar said, "Oh, you're reported because you said the word nigga." It's like I'm black. Get the fuck out of my face.
Honestly, man, I'm gonna be honest with you at this point.
What's up?
I'm a white guy. I don't care if someone wants to use I'm going to say the N word so that way I don't have everybody trying to knock down my goddamn door. But, you know, honestly, it's a fucking word.
It's
Quit
not
being
even.
all butthurt about it. I get
even
tired of getting called cracker and racist
don't
and
like
everything
the
else
word.
under the sun.
The thing is, it's not
Shit.
even the. Wait. Grim, it's not even the same shit. It's not even. It doesn't even mean the same thing. It's just they were looking for something to report us on. That's honestly what this whole thing's about, in my opinion.
No, I understand. I'm at the point. It's a damn word. Quit. People need to quit getting all up at arms over it and going, "Oh, you're using a word." You know what? I'm gonna be honest. I've been called
My question has been, if there's nothing wrong with being black, how can there be a wrong word?
Thank you.
My thing is this. My thing.
By someone saying that nigger is a bad word, you're basically saying that being black is bad.
Okay,
Okay.
one thing. Hold on.
I don't like the word. I'm just gonna say.
One second. My point is more or less this, right? It's not even about that. It's the fact that he tried to report me for something that doesn't even have anything to do with the word with that. Like it doesn't. Like they don't mean the same thing. And then like Lenny tries to come at me and goes, "Oh, but you can say the word spurred." I'm like, yeah, I didn't go to somebody and he tried to tell me what is and what nigga means and what it doesn't mean. Like that dude's not even black. Like,
What's spurred? What is? I mean, that doesn't.
It means moron, pretty much.
Pretty much.
He called me
calling-
moron like
it's like
5
calling
minutes beforehand. He
someone a
called
schlemiel,
me
dude.
what, a lobotomized child?
It's like
Pretty
calling
much.
someone a schlemiel. Oh, guys, I just found a picture of this kid that looks like a werewolf.
It's
They
funny
have
too, but
genetic disease.
Is that how he got banned? Did somebody report him for saying that, or like maybe on another tweet that he was finding? You want to know what also happens? Apparently, you can accidentally get shadow banned by saying thank you to a shadow banned person.
I didn't even know that. Really?
Yeah, it's Austin.
It's an issue that's been happening that apparently thank you has accidentally been glitched. So if you say thank you to certain people who have been shadow banned, you become shadow banned.
Honestly,
Well, it is a 4-letter word, guys. I'm just saying.
honestly, the reason why I think that dude got Lenny or whatever got reported was probably because he said some fucking shit in another fucking tweet and another fucking thread, and then fucking blamed me or fucking nerd.
I'm always going to be blamed. If you didn't notice that immediately when we get them into a corner, they accuse me of not making Comicsgate. Dun dun dun.
Like that's all they fucking did was just like make up weird accusations and excuses and shit.
They're like really mad because we won't say no. Because then it was all like, you need to disavow DNC, and I'm like, well, if we disavow DNC, you got to disavow a bunch of your stuff. And they're like, none of that stuff ever happened. It's like, then our stuff never happened.
Exactly.
Can I go on record of saying I don't think anybody ever avowed him? I mean, there's it's like they're the ones that made him the leader.
I'm not gonna come in the middle and meet with some asshole who wants to cry about mean things that were said to them on Twitter. Like, fuck off. Like, you guys harass people and shit. I don't have time for this.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Like, seriously. And then they're fucking hypocrites, like you said, England. Like, they put everybody in a moral box. It's okay to sit here and say all sorts of shit to us, but then when we say anything to you, like you jump on that. That's why they jumped on me saying the word spurred, because Nerd nor I said anything remotely insulting to them.
So, Nerd Wonder and myself are kind of in the same box where we would prefer to actually have a conversation and say, hey, look, this is the problem. This is what's going on, rather than just name calling. So what this guy does is comes up and says, well, if you want a conversation, like, since we want a conversation, you have to act like this, this, and this, and this. And they're throwing all sorts of shit at us while we're supposed to act nice towards them because we want we want a conversation. But if you hurl insults and throw shit, then we're going to be the chimpanzees too and throw shit right back. If you want to have a conversation, we're open to it. But they sometimes mistake niceness for weakness. And that's a huge fucking mistake.
Or if you're being polite.
Yeah, politeness for weakness, anything. Yeah, I would prefer actually to have a sit down or a live stream with someone like, say, Mags Visaggio than just sit in a corner with our fingers in our ears and hurling insults. But that doesn't mean gonna fucking roll over while they're fucking hurling insults, and that's just that's an insult in itself.
Well,
To assume that we're going to be doing that.
Insults and stuff like that just show how narrow and small-minded they actually are in their lack of intelligence. I may have brain damage. I might cuss a lot from what I used to do for a living. But here's the thing. I try not to, and I have to catch myself. But you literally can see how small-minded and bigotous they are with the amount of insults that they're flinging by. If you can actually have an actual conversation and debate with me why my point of view is wrong, I may change my point of view. Not necessarily, especially if you're pulling the
if you don't, I'm sorry. If you don't, if you don't mind my saying so, if you don't mind me pointing something out, I'm going to do it anyway. But you guys can jump on me for this if you don't like it. One thing they do when they're debating or when they're arguing, we'll pull out a point and we'll say, hey, you know, there is this and this and this, and they'll say, well, what about? And then what they're trying to do is they're trying to put you on the defensive. So now you have to defend. In order for you to be a good person, you have to defend what DNC said.
No, you don't have to defend any of it.
They have completely ignored the point you were trying to make. So if they ever say that, say, okay, we're going to get to that. But first, the question on the table was this. You answer that. You answer that, and then we'll get around to everything else. But before you do that, we're stuck in this particular circle. This is where we are right now. They try to control the conversation by putting us, and I've seen this happen to many people on our side of the Comicsgate controversy here, where they try to put us in positions where we're always answering, we're always defending, we're always on. Don't let them do that. Say, this is the point we're trying to make. If we want good comics, if that's what you're saying you're after, then always keep it to the quality. You tell me why America Chavez is a lesbian stereotype, always angry, always written the same way, poor writing here, this, and this, and this. Well, you hate gay people. No, we're not talking about gay people. We're talking about this comic about a gay person. Richard C. Myers said all trans people are men in wigs. No, he said Mags Visaggio was. So why do you think that all trans people, or Mags Visaggio is all trans people? Don't let them put you in a position where you're on the defensive. Always be on the attack as far as that. They are always racist. They are always homophobic, always anti-Semitic, because they see people as groups, not individuals.
They're using
Sorry for the rant.
No, it's fine. I agree with you. They're primarily using deflection tactics. They're using the same crap that people use in political debates to try to offset somebody. And here's the thing: if we were talking about a movie or whatever, and I've got a lot of gay friends, I'll freely admit it. And we're sitting there talking like, we're writing this crap. They're forcing gay propaganda down your throat. Gay in a movie, but make the writing really decent for it, at least, for God's sake. Don't throw a gay person in something just for the sake of having a token gay guy or gay woman.
I hate sexism.
That's my opinion.
Well, according to them, you are the token. You have no free will. You have no free thought. Here because what we brainwashed you.
The very few blonde-haired, green-eyed people in the world. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Lynx is back. Hey, Lynx.
At this point, but you're right. They think that. And my cat's but seriously, if you look at how they're actually trying to perform stuff, I'm just going to harken back and say, look at Mussolini, look at Hitler, look at Stalin, Lenin. Now you look at all their speeches that were recorded. You watch all the speeches that were recorded. And you look at what they're pulling in their conversations and their propaganda that they're spewing out, and it's exactly the same damn thing. Bar none. They're literally pulling a page from Mein Kampf, from Lenin, Stalin, from all of them.
Mhm.
And this is why people need to really start looking at history and realizing, oh, wow, we're being stupid.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Oh, there goes Nerd Wonder.
Like Nerd probably dropped.
I think I just pissed off Nerd.
No, Nerd probably dropped because she's. I think no, she's not at work. She's probably just busy. But like,
Yeah, that's why I dropped out earlier. Hey, welcome back.
Hey,
Nerd
sorry,
Right.
I'm gonna go and head on out for a bit because it's Father's Day and I got a special surprise to set up for my dad.
people. It's Father's Day, so that's why we can really.
She got her daddy the Iron Man suit he always wanted.
Have fun, nerd.
All right, have a
Does it fly at least, Nerd? Does it have a
Take care.
jetpack at least?
All right, later.
I'll take that as a yes since she said we. She has to test out the jetpack.
Links. Links. You kind of missed the. We had like a little. We were basically just talking about this argument like Nerd, I, and then England Teen had like earlier today with this fucking dude named Lenny and some other people. Honestly, I think they were. I think it was probably just two people on multiple accounts.
Probably. So what was going on? I heard something about communism.
Like, did anybody mention? Well, yeah, fucking Grim. Tell him what you were talking about. I think Grim is dead.
No, Grim is back. The caveman is back.
Alright,
Sorry, I had to grab something to drink.
no problem. Hey,
So
Grim.
yes.
Link didn't hear what you said before. Can you repeat it?
On
About
what part?
like the comparisons with like Mao and all the other ideologies.
Okay, if you start looking at all the ideologists across the globe, the ideologues, like we'll take Hitler's Mein Kampf, we'll take Mussolini, we'll take Stalin, Lenin, hell, we'll even take some of the Chinese propaganda, and we'll take even some of the stuff from Africa, hell, even some of the stuff from the United States back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, and 60s. Okay, and the crap that they're spewing back, they're doing the exact same tactics that all of them have used and go, but wait, you don't like this, da 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 da.
Yeah,
And
it's
they
the
try-
exact same playbook. They've been using it for 100 years, and they're probably not going to change using it anytime soon. The whole thing with you've got, as an example, you've got all these people labeling people like us as Nazis, for example. They did the exact same thing to Walt Disney.
Yeah, they did. And here's the thing. Someone might want to, like my favorite one. Someone sees me, blonde hair, green eyes, calls me a Nazi. I get pissed off when they call me a Nazi because a lot of my family left Austria, Germany because of the Nazis.
Mhm.
So that kind of crap pisses me off when they're such small-minded fools that they can't even see the tree in the damn forest.
Yeah.
And you see it all the damn time. And they just want to be shock jocks. That's all they want to be. They've watched way too much of what's his nuts from
Howard
from
Stern.
Yes, thank you. You can see how much I actually care about that man. But you know, they all think that they're all on their righteous friggin' holy crusade, and the problem is none of them stop to think for 5 minutes. What if we're mistaken? Where a rational person will sit there and will sit there and go, maybe I'm mistaken about what's going on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
I'm a
don't think there's
practicing
nothing wrong.
Buddhist, so we do that. McCarthy did nothing wrong. Well, yeah.
So I know exactly what you mean, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. Moving on.
But then you even look at some of the books people are writing, and it's the same thing as with the comic books.
Mhm.
Mind you, I'm a voracious reader. I'm a bibliophile, literally.
Yep.
And you'll start reading some of the books, and you'll see some of the authors that are sticking to their guns, writing what they want, and because people are reading some of the stuff and thinking that they're going along to get along. No, if you've been reading their stuff for years, that's how they write. And they actually do not agree with the political structure of stuff. Okay. But then you look at other writers, because they've gotten a little bit of pressure, they change their writing style entirely. Just like the comic.
Yeah.
And they're literally suppressing freedom of speech, freedom of thought. They literally want that world where everybody is. Well, let's be frank. They want socialism. They want Marxism. They want all that crap.
Yeah.
And I'll even admit, and you look at history, it don't work.
Nope.
Look
I
at
talked to
recent
one guy
history.
who-
Look at Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I talked to one guy who was big into it, and I said, this is why socialism, communism never works. It's never been tried. I said, it's been tried. And so we started talking. He goes, well, you got to do what's good for the people. I said, which people? You and I disagree.
I
He says,
actually
well,
saw
we
a
have to
really-
find out what's better for the people. And then I said, but you're going to do this. Okay, say you implement this, but I don't agree with it. So I'm going to stand up and I'm going to fight you. And because I've got a good personality, I'm going to get people who are surrounding me. Now, what are you going to do? He goes, well, we have to find a way to silence you. Do that. I mean, I've got me and say 400 people now, and we are getting more and more people every day, and we're going to change this policy. He says, well, we're going to have to remove you from society. And I said, congratulations. That's how communism becomes dictatorship.
And that becomes.
It's been tried.
I saw
it
this
never
absolutely
worked.
fascinating debate between Sargon of Akkad and a couple of other guys up against some straight up communists. And the communists were, of course, making the typical argument of communism has never been truly implemented, but they were explaining that what the Soviet Union had was the transitionary period into true communism.
100 years of transitionary period, my ass.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
If the country can't survive the transitionary period, then the ideology sucks.
Exactly. And here's the other thing. If you look at Star Trek, right? I wholeheartedly believe that the writer of Star Trek was probably leaning towards communism because of how everything is in the Star Trek universe. The only way technically communism could work is if you had replicators and you had all that fucking
The
crazy
post-scarcity society.
Exactly. If you had no scarcity, communism would possibly work. It'd be, but you can't have that. There's no friggin' way.
Mhm.
And here's the other
So
thing.
as soon as they come up with food replicators, we're there.
Well, no, here's the other problem, though. You got the other side of the coin to that. Okay, fine. You have that. You give everybody their needs, their wants, their desires, and then you run into problem number 2. Now you run into stagnation and the slow decline of the population and society itself until there's nothing left.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, how are you going to motivate people when all of their needs and wants are met? They have nothing to aspire to. So all they've got left is just what?
Weird thing now that you're on the Star Trek thing and you're making me think they still had jobs. So
Well,
why were they going to their jobs? I mean,
Well,
I'm not
because
just talking about
humans-
I work for the
Here's how I heard it explained. It was basically to keep busy because people need
Okay.
to keep busy.
They get
Well,
bored.
yes.
The thing is, no matter what you do, people are gonna have a natural predisposition towards ambition or towards like self interest. So even in a situation where all their base needs are met, they're still probably going to strive for what Hume called higher pleasures, like
Okay.
intellectually and like emotionally
Have
satisfying.
some that do. That is correct. You're going to have very few that do. The problem is when you start giving people, like, for instance, we'll take the holographic projection system that they have, okay? And you
The
can make any vacation you want. You can satisfy their sexual needs, their physical needs, their so-called mental needs for companionship and whatnot, and you program all that crap into the system, you're going to wind up with the problem that the population is going to decline and they're going to die. And then not only that, if you look at the Star Trek universe, they went through a very quick period of massive acceleration in technology, and then they slowly start to stagnate in their technology. You can see that in comparison to the multiple other empires in the Star Trek universe, where most of their technological advancements come in is when they take in that new group of people. Okay? It's the same thing like with the Imperium of Man from Warhammer 40K. Okay? They had their golden age where everybody's needs were met, all that, blah, 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 blah. And then you run into the problem of, okay, everything falls apart, Emperor Man comes up, they expand again, and then you run into the religious coin of it where religion took over, and now it's a dystopian future once again. There actually has to be a balance in everything, and nobody realizes that. It's like with capitalism, okay? What the U.S. has currently is not true capitalism.
It's mitigated by social programs and safety nets and shit.
Mitigated by social programs, okay? We currently don't have any tariffs with other countries barely at all. Okay, we import everything. We export barely anything because no one wants our crap. Nobody wants GMO products. Nobody wants this. Nobody wants that. We are and if you look at how quickly we're advancing technology, we're really not. We are stagnated. We're just refining current technology. That is all we're doing. If you look at most of the globe, the ones that are advancing in technology are Japan, are China, are Europe, North Korea, especially
South Korea,
and South Korea. Well, North Korea with their weapons programs, but South Korea with a lot of their technology also.
North Korea's weapons programs is still 50 years behind.
Debatable on certain aspects of it, but they're getting technology from the Russians. But the thing it boils down to is, if you look at the United States, we are starting to stagnate. If you look at culture, if you look at all the infighting that's starting to occur, we are stagnating. When you start stagnating, you have infighting, you have other problems. We don't have the ideals and the dreams that we once did because everybody's too focused on stupid shit. They're bringing up back old problems anew and making it look like that it's actually an issue, and it's only becoming an issue because they're making it an issue. Is what it boils down to. We haven't really advanced in our own technological breakthroughs in quite a while. Other than what? Penis pills and shit like that? Seriously?
I think honestly we're just in a lull.
It's not even a lull.
I wouldn't call it full stagnation, at least not yet.
Well, if you read the comic books and you watch a lot of the TV shows and stuff, you're seeing social stagnation. You're seeing the lack of dreams and whatnot that they used to have back in the 1950s, 60s, 70s, where people were dreaming of a better future. If you look at all the TV shows across the globe, you're seeing a dystopian future, which is showing that people are losing hope. Primarily due to...
Yes and no. I think the older generations more so than the younger generation. I think one of the defining characteristics of millennials in particular is that they don't
they want everything to do them on a silver fucking platter.
Well, they don't settle quite as easily because we were raised in a culture with all these movies and shit where it was made fairly obvious that settling for, the mainstream, 9-to-5 desk job in a cubicle or whatever was soul crushing and would lead to like midlife crises and shit.
Here's the problem. That's also part of the problem. You can't always have a job that you love. That is life. Okay, I've done jobs that were soul crushing and crap. You go, okay, I did plumbing for a while. You go sit there and jump in a damn sewer with cockroaches the size of dinner plates, or you're fixing plumbing and some asshole takes a shit and you get hit in the chest with a Boston steamer. Okay, that's a soul crushing job that's unthankful, and everybody thinks that a trademan's an idiot because we promoted everybody needs a college degree. I hate to say this. Some people just aren't cut out for college.
This is true.
And
I was working at a dead-end gas station job just a couple of years ago. That's it sounds nice and cushy, but it's not.
And then on top of that, you want people to okay. I know people that have no college degree that have just read books, myself included, and I even went to college, where you know the exact same stuff as an engineer, a doctor,
they
a
would
lawyer,
know.
whatever. Exactly.
But you've gone about it in a more autodidactic sense. And
Exactly.
I would kind of
And
include
you
myself
can't
in
get
that
the
because
same,
I was
you can't
always
get the same job as the guy that got the fancy degree. And the problem is, I've talked to half these kids that are coming out of a college. I live right by a major college. Okay,
twits.
I talk to
The
these
majority
kids.
of them.
All
Twits.
right, they can't, because of how they're teaching children now in the U.S. and not in other countries. They're teaching a test. They are not teaching to teach and to
Teaching
learn.
them what to think, not how to think.
Exactly. And the problem you
they-
run into is they can't think for themselves. They can't invent. They can't take bits and pieces of information and come up with a new idea or figure out what's going on around them.
there's nothing about systems or functionality or taking concepts and applying them or any of that kind of
And
shit.
this
And
once
it
again
always
applies.
pisses me off.
This once again applies to writing, comics, and TV shows all the way around. Because they are not being taught to think, they cannot come up with a novel idea or figure out how to make
to
something.
save their life.
Well, that's
to
only
save-
part of the problem in the case of TV shows, because with TV shows, you also have the problem of the Hollywood system being
Yeah.
inherently such a cloistered environment.
I think
you
that's
only-
more. I think
Well,
that's more
he's-
of a system than a symptom.
Well, no,
than
he's got a point.
personally.
Okay, let's take a look at some of the TV shows that were canceled that were excellent TV shows, had great reviews. Firefly, Special Unit 2. We're going to take in hell. There was
Pushing Daisies, Dead Like Me, the NBC Constantine series, so on and
NBC
so on. And so on.
Constantine series, and the
Six-
list just
666
goes on.
Park Avenue, so on and so on.
You know, the list just goes on, and all those were canceled because someone further up didn't like the concept because they've got their head up their ass, and they lost a good TV show that everybody was watching.
Yeah, Firefly is a really good example because it got royally screwed by Fox.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Firefly was one of those.
Sleepy Hollow, as long as we're sticking with Fox.
Yeah, Sleepy Hollow.
got completely cucked.
Okay, Sleepy Hollow is another good example. Aftermath is another good example. Had great reviews, had a lot of people watching it.
And it even applies to TV shows that don't necessarily get the X. Like
The
what
Good Guys. I want to toss out one. The Good Guys was a damn smart and funny cop show, and what do we get? 17 versions of CS fucking I. Oh my gosh, that just
And
pissed me off.
NCIS.
Oh, and let's not forget all the reality TV shows.
Oh yeah, that's the big
Okay.
decline. in
I
quality
don't
TV
I don't
right there.
mind the ones like
127
Face Off, Forged in Fire. Those ones are actually kind of cool. They're showing you how to do something.
Mhm.
And let's face it, seeing someone turn people into monsters that look badass is awesome.
Yes.
But-
let's not act as though we're not all geeks here.
But you know,
Well, I'm a Gordon Ramsay fan, and I've learned to cook by watching those cooking shows he does.
that's how I learned to cook. I was
The-
watching cooking shows since I was a kid. My favorite was
I
Mr.
learned to cook
Foods and I don't remember the other ones.
I learned to cook from Good Eats, the Alton Brown TV show.
But you know, if you really look at stuff, they're removing all that kind of stuff, and like the Science Channel, where the Science Channel actually used to show new technology and how it's made, and all this random,
Mythbusters and
all this random different stuff. You know, where they're actually showing science, and now what are they showing? Garbage.
yeah.
Like I think.
Oh
one of the
yeah,
part-
like
And
when did the History Channel stop showing
History
history
Channel
and
is-
start showing reality?
The History
Exactly.
Channel is the same way too. Like they used to show like really interesting and innovative concepts on history and like unknown history and different concepts like
ancient
that.
aliens.
I think
ghost
where
stuff.
the History Channel went wrong was when they did Vikings.
I say Pawn Stars.
I disagree because Pawn
No.
Stars still has historical relevance because of all of the
Well,
antiques that come through.
It
Yeah,
does. I'm
Pawn
just
Stars
saying
does,
that
and same with the other one that they show on there with the two guys going around the United
American
States.
Pickers.
Yeah, you know, you actually get to see a lot of history when you're doing.
Yeah. That
I do.
it's not those shows in particular I have a problem with. It's just that because they went so hard in the paint to copy those shows, they pushed out all of their documentary based or like op-ed based content, and instead now every show is just Antiques Roadshow number 1274.
Well, no, Antiques Roadshow is not one of those. Antiques Roadshow is actually good. It does give the history.
Well,
of it.
no, I was just giving an example. It's all that same sort of. It's all that same sort of
Copy of
content. Yeah.
road shows. Things have become a carbon copy of it.
And that's why you've got like 10,000 channels and not a goddamn thing on TV.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I don't watch regular TV anymore.
That's why
I watch maybe 3 shows, and they're like the only good things on TV.
Hey, who here is a fan of The Man in the High Castle?
I haven't seen that yet. How is it?
You need to watch it. It's fucking amazing.
It's a really good show and a really good adaptation, honestly.
Have you guys seen Sci-Fi's crap. It's the space opera one.
Is it The Expanse?
Yeah, thank you.
I love The Expanse.
You know that.
Do they sing?
Someone get Gary from Neurotic.
Well, no. If you look at The Expanse and how they're writing it, and you look at how the world actually works and everything else, all the characters are very much so human. You see the inner conflict in them all the damn time.
One of the actors in one of the behind-the-scenes features made the comment that just because we're in space doesn't mean that we fundamentally change as a species.
Yeah.
No,
Sci-Fi has actually been killing it in like recent years. I mean, between The Expanse and The Magicians, like those
The Expanse, Magicians, Dark Matter. Yeah, they have been.
12 Monkeys was even pretty good, and I would make an argument for it. I think the show was called Dominion, the one with like post-apocalyptic angels fighting humans and shit. That one was actually pretty decent too, until they got way too into themselves and kind of ruined it. But yeah, Sci-Fi has actually been killing it. That and TNT's The Librarians is one of my favorite shows, but that's just because
thought they canceled The Librarians.
See, I've been hearing that, but I also been hearing it got renewed for season 4. So
I thought they were canceling it because the writer finished up everything he was writing for The Librarians and wanted to take a break.
I didn't hear that, but I've been hearing conflicting things about where they're going to go with it. I want at least one more season just to kind of wrap everything up, but if they ended it there, they ended it in a sufficient place where I'm like, okay, yeah. And if they ever want to pick it back up again, they can do that. But what I love about it is, since I've seen the made-for-TV movies from the early 2000s, and I'm kind of a lore geek, they stick so hard to their lore, especially given that the TV show was made like 14 years after the last TV movie came out. So, goddamn, they know how to respect a franchise.
Well, that's the thing. You have some stuff where they'll actually stick to it, and you can see where good writing shows, and the CEOs of the company don't care. It's good writing. They're getting good reviews. They'll keep it running. And it's very rare that you see that, because if something becomes slightly political, like let's take a look at Orville, right? They're probably going to cancel Orville. It's going
I really hope not. The Orville's so fucking good.
Orville's probably going to get canned, or the writer's going to get kicked in the nuts and told, bad you can't do that stuff, because let's face it, they were hitting some really politically charged button issues.
Yes.
In a comedic way, but they were.
Like a good Star Trek show is supposed to fucking do.
Yeah, I haven't actually seen the Orville, but I've heard about some of the political issues that it tackles, and it does so in a very middle of the road, showing both sides of the argument sort of way.
Again, like a good Star Trek show should do. It's really good, dude. You need to see it. Like if you're worried about the Seth MacFarlaneisms, I wouldn't. He keeps like his tropes to a minimum.
Okay.
It's funny they sold it as if it was if it was How to Die in the West but in space, and then it wasn't at all.
It was basically just, what if everyone in Star Trek talked like a normal goddamn human being from time to time?
Well, here's the thing that's also about that. Orville was actually supposed to be a new Star Trek show. They had to change it completely because they wanted to make their new Star Trek show that's a piece of crap.
The appropriately named STD.
Yes.
Because they want to do action instead of actually writing Star Trek.
Yeah, I tried watching STD and I got about
Felt-
20
felt
minutes
like
in
you
before
had
I
one.
got too angry at it.
Did it give you an STD?
It might as well have.
The point where I lost my shit was with the Vulcan hello. I was just like, that's not how Vulcan logic systems work. You stupid fucks.
I'm sorry. If you want to keep my attention, don't kill the hot Asian woman at the beginning of the show.
That's the problem The Last Jedi had.
And today, Angwin has a thing for Asian
in a
chicks.
very horrible manner, which was very entertaining. I'm not going to lie.
Yep.
But they did it in a
Well,
right.
not to mention the fact that she was also the most interesting character in the show at that point. And she was a captain, so it fits the captain mission things that seem stupid in Star Trek.
She also have a red shirt.
Yeah.
Did she also have a red shirt?
Okay, sorry, I vanished. By the way,
We
got
were
back.
talking about sci-fi in general.
I got.
Um,
All right, y'all seem to have had a better conversation than me. I got dragged into that fight with that retarded fucking person, Lenny.
Well,
You know what you should
is
do?
that
Kill
tweet
Lenny
still
with
going?
time.
Yeah, it's still going. It's like it has not slowed down. I think I'm just gonna.
Do you know what the other thing? Do you know what the other problem we have in our culture is? Anybody who's a nerd or likes science or technology, we get shamed for it. Okay, I'll admit I was your
that's less of a
stereotypical
problem
jock nerd.
That's
I
less of a
wouldn't say
problem
that's-
now than it was 20
Yeah,
years ago.
I
and
think
here's
let's
the
not
problem.
look the gift horse in the mouth
Hold
here.
on, hold
It's
on.
gotten significantly better.
I've actually got a point I'm going with this. Okay, so it's better now than it was 20 years ago, but it's also worse in a sense because they are glorifying the nerd stereotype in a way that is not reflective of who we actually are.
Oh,
They're trying to portray us as being Sheldon Cooper from The Big Bang Theory.
Well, this is
and making that popular.
this is a large part of the reason why they're doing that. They want to start advocating for nerd culture as a kind of victimhood, like they do with all the other minorities,
and
that's
we're not
why
victims.
that's why they
we're the
that's why
assholes that get the good jobs and are everyone's boss that fucked with us when we were younger.
But yeah, the reason why they want to portray us all as the most stereotypical bastards they can get is because they want to co-opt nerd culture as a kind of victimhood like they do with all the other minorities. And that's also why they really, really hate a lot of geek culture, because as anyone who's a real geek or a real nerd can tell you, it's very expertise and knowledge based. Like,
yeah, it's also
you
very
have to know your shit, and they don't like meritocracy, so they have to unmeritize geek culture, and that's why they try to co-opt.
Well,
things
I
like
got
games
I got
and
a
shit.
question for you guys off the hip here, really quick. All right, your plumber, carpenter, electrician, all that stuff. Are they just as valuable to society as your doctor, lawyer, and all that stuff?
Oh, absolutely, they are. They are
I'm an
absolutely just as
unemployed
important.
actor.
Why,
You guys-
then why have we gotten rid of the trade schools entirely?
Because automation continues to be a thing.
Okay, automation doesn't do shit when you need your crapper fixed, dude. I hate
That's
to
right.
break it to you. I literally had a doctor tell me one time before I joined the service that your job is worthless. A machine will be doing your job in 50 years. I'm like, no, it won't, because there's one problem. Unless you give a machine a learning AI and give it actual intelligence, what's going to happen when you need a pipe fixed and you want it done on the cheap and you need me to come fix your shitter because you can't take a crap?
Yeah.
I'm gonna.
Sorry, but
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm just saying it's one of those things where it's a double-edged sword. Like where they're promoting for how many years that we need all these degrees. You got more people with degrees now that don't have jobs than people without degrees that have jobs.
It's because they made all degrees. They made it sound like all degrees are at the same value.
And
now you've got everybody taking liberal arts who can't find a fucking job because
And gender studies. Don't forget that one.
Yeah, as Ben Shapiro says, your lesbian dance theory didn't pan out for the $1 million moneymaker you want.
Yeah, as someone who legitimately loves the humanities, like to my core, it pains me to see all this social justice, gender ideology bullshit co-opting every aspect of the humanities. It's just like subjectivity is not an argument, you stupid fucks.
I look at it like this: they like men, they like women, they like both. They think they should be a woman, they think they should be a man, and they're the opposite gender. Who cares? Give it another 20 years. We'll have the technology to completely make it where a guy can fully become a woman and have kids. I really don't care. You know, it's whatever floats their boat. It's whoever they want to be. You don't need to be throwing it all over the damn place like they're doing.
Well, they're trying to force you into accepting it, and they say that, oh, you're not validating my identity. And my thinking is, if you need your identity valid in order to feel good as a person, you don't have an identity. If you need me to say you're okay, you don't have an identity.
And then there's problem number 2. By throwing this stuff in people's faces and trying to validate it, all they're doing is causing more lashback. That's all they're doing.
They're basically just putting mental illness on a pedestal.
Whose channel is this on, by the way, so I can actually look at the chat?
Yes, thank you.
It's Corrupt's channel.
Okay.
Yeah, right here. This is me. Again, sorry I'm not saying anything, but I'm in this stupid fucking fight, which I think I'm gonna exit this thread now. I'm just gonna fucking mute it because it's fucking stupid.
Just mute. The drama's not worth it, dude.
Dude, just leave him a pic of a nuclear device blowing up. That's all you got to do, and just leave.
Tell him this. You just hate black people. That's why you're arguing with me, because that's their logic. Remember, you don't like Iceman because he's gay, not because of bad writing. Tell him that he's arguing with you because he hates black people. Then stop talking to him.
Iceman wasn't gay. Iceman's technically been bi if you look at all the shit that he's ever said in all of his comics. He's bi. He's greedy. That's all there is to it.
Well, my position is that they're not even writing. It's not Iceman that they wrote about.
No, it's not. And then you also got the writers that keep trying to nerf superheroes by saying they're too powerful. And all you're doing is if you're actually a fan of them, you read the comics, you know what powers they have, and then if you just think of it in a logical manner, the powers, if you use them in a certain way that they can do this, it works. It's like with Magneto. He should be able to make people fly off the ground by separating the gravitational forces by using electromagnetic fields, throw plasma balls to create lightning bolts out of thin air.
Yeah.
It goes on. And he's supposed to be a genius, but he never does this stuff.
Well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of the way they've been doing that because it makes everybody ultra powerful. You know, why if you can do A means you can do B?
Well,
it just doesn't.
Well, no, if you actually think about it,
I know the well actually, but it doesn't make sense in the superhero world.
Fields, okay, that's literally what it is. Control of electromagnetic fields. What his power boils down to. He has control of electromagnetic fields. That's what he should be able to do. Magneto's technically one of the most broken characters in the universe, in my personal opinion. Now, if you look at like Iceman, okay, he has control over, well, they want to say ice, but what it actually is control over water itself, technically.
Yeah.
Because he can
and
freeze
temperature.
Water, and temperature, okay? So his power should be almost as broken because he can control states of matter. His basic power boils down to controlling states of matter. Now you look at some of the other people. Okay, we'll take Plastic Man. I'm not even going to go with Stretch because he's a copy of Plastic Man. Plastic Man, for all intents and purposes, is a shapeshifter. What it boils down to. He can control the own state of the cells in his being. Okay, now you go with Storm. Storm, the same controls storms. I'd like a better explanation of her powers personally so you know what actually she can do. But, you know, you start looking at all the different characters in there. If you break down their powers into varying aspects, you have control over personal self, matter, mental, and then you have psychic powers, which I'm putting in another category in and of their own right. But then it's down to how much control they have over it and how much power they have as an individual with it.
So here's how I'd go about explaining it. Now, admittedly, I'm not an X-Men fan, but here's how it goes from my point of view. The vast majority of the powers that you see are just a variant of telekinesis. The reason that each one manifests in a different way is because this is how their instincts tell them that they are able to use these powers. And if they could overcome this instinctual barrier, they could expand their powers to be
just
pretty much on the same level as Jean Grey, basically.
Yeah, I would generally agree with that, except I would make it a neurological thing, like
neurological. I like that.
Well,
their minds instinctively jive with a particular kind of matter or a particular kind of energy.
That's basically what I was getting at. Yeah.
Rather than just making it instinctual, I would make it straight up neurological or genetic.
Yeah.
If you're going with neurological aspect, then the actual power output would be based on the actual person's.
Now I'm of a different school where I don't think the descriptions and the reasonings are necessary. It's comic books. Iceman can control ice. He can control it in one state, not moisture. If it's not in that particular state, he has no control. Why? Because he's Iceman. Yeah, I mean, maybe it goes against
you.
You're in the school of thought of a wizard did it.
Yeah, well,
and I wouldn't even allow for that
if we're going in the thought of the school, a wizard did it. If you look at mythological magic, comic book magic, all those have rules, just like rules of physics.
Yeah.
Okay. So it all boils down to the same thing. It's knowledge of the ability, natural potential, how much they work to improve themselves, just like, say, someone has natural physical. Yeah, just like any other skill. So, yeah, could Iceman actually control water eventually if he actually put his mind to it? Probably. Is he going to? Probably friggin' not.
Because it's almost unnecessary, given that his ice manipulation powers give him such an absurd level of power. Anyway,
and that's what you got to look at. You have characters that have such absurd levels of power that they're like, well, I don't need to improve myself any further. I'm perfect how I am, which is fine.
Well, that's Magneto. That could be Magneto. Magneto is so powerful without tapping into the Earth's core or anything like that, that why would he learn to go any further than what he has? Or Charles Xavier even can touch every mind in the world. So,
guys, Gerbil just said, look when Emma Frost was in his body.
Well, one of the reasons I actually like Charles is even though he is such a naturally gifted telepath, he still does work to refine it. That's one of the reasons I like Charles.
I've never been one, I like their relations to the powers. Bobby's what do they call level mutant? There just seems to be too many of them. It used to be something, odd where it's like that. But it just seems to be, well, now they can do that because the crowd, because they actually them into godhood.
That's because they're trying to be like Warhammer 40K, where everything's ridiculously powerful, over the top, so everything else has to be ridiculously powerful and over the top. And that's what they're going towards.
I blame anime.
I actually like things on a grander scale.
Dude, Warhammer 40K was ridiculous and over the top before anime was ridiculous and over the top. That's all I'm going to say. Okay, anime's copying Warhammer 40K. Everyone seems to be copying them and how broken they are with their stuff and the weaponry and everything else. Warhammer 40K and Rips Palladium. Okay, if you look at those two universes, everything's broken and over the top. Literally. And they have to be because they're dealing with like Cthulhu level shit on a regular basis. And that's what they're trying to be. And in actuality, all they need to do is humanize stuff more and they'd be doing just fine. Because people want something that they can get behind, that they understand, and that basically jives with their soul. Sorry.
No, that's an interesting conversation. I like this kind of talk. Because I like the fact that we also are taking different opinions or at least different sides. It's kind of nice to have a good geek conversation where we're just talking superheroes and stupid stuff rather than it's Twitter drama.
So my other
It's kinda
question:
fun.
when the fuck do I get my flying car? Back to the Future lied to me.
Yeah, actually, a lot of
apparently
people.
When Doc and Marty went back in time, they screwed something up, and this is why we're in the future we're in.
Well,
They fixed
actually, I
their
think
shit,
what the
but they
problem
broke
is.
something else.
Well, no, they actually had flying cars since the 1950s. The problem is, federal government doesn't want you to have a flying car in any country because you can go anywhere you want, do whatever the hell you want.
And
then you
also
got-
because if
According
too many
to,
people have them, then it's going to cloud the airspace and make everything
Well-
infinitely more dangerous.
Well, no, that just puts the big plane industry out of business because now you have flying cars.
Hold on, I'm gonna go grab something to eat real quick. Can someone look at the
No.
comments and try and involve the chat for me?
Okay.
I will do that for you if you want me
Yeah.
to.
Yeah.
Are the comments on this or on his Twitter?
Yeah,
page?
I
Chat.
have it open already.
Okay.
Okay, so we have.
And then we need to give Gerbil the sexy robo voice from what movie had that sexy robot voice? Anybody remember? There's been a lot of movies that had sexy robot voices. We got to get Gerbil one of those.
Oh, Her was one. It was supposed to be the AI.
Her was also the best romance movie of the decade.
Right. Maybe for you, Dalton.
Well,
a lot
that's
of us
because-
actually like.
That's because Dalton wants to have himself a robot.
Yes.
Not
Oh,
necessarily,
Gerbil wants a
which is
Dalek
really
voice,
fucking
guys.
great romance movie.
Gerbil wants a Dalek voice because she's a big fan of Doctor Who.
Damn
Makes sense.
fucking straight. Good for you, Gerbil.
But
okay.
Gerbil, you wouldn't make a good Dalek. I hate to break it to you. You're not angry enough.
Well, it's established in at least New Who. I'm not sure entirely about Classic Who, but in New Who, it's established that the Daleks can trigger their weaponry with the use of just about every emotion, including love. So all she would need to do is get emotional.
I don't remember what episode that was, and I've watched all the Doctor Who episodes.
That was Which is Familiar, which was a 12th Doctor episode with the Mistress and Clara. It was part of the 2-part Magician's Apprentice Which is Familiar episode.
Mm.
The first episode of, I want to say season 9, although it might have been season 8.
I'm still waiting on the new female Doctor. Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not opposed to the Doctor being female because it's well established that they are energy beings who wear physical forms like we wear clothing. So,
And all I gotta say is, I would be her companion.
it really depends on her characterization. From what we saw in the Christmas episode, which was, I believe, Twice Upon a Time, she looked like she could be a good Doctor. I'm more worried about Chris Chibnall because he seems to want to feminize Doctor Who just for the sake of feminism, and it's really pissing me off.
Well, we'll have to see with the writing.
You hate
Once it-
women.
Yes, women.
Well, that's because he loves men.
Yes. Yeah.
And I hate everybody equally.
That's the way to be.
I hate the majority of people. Some people are worth it, present company included. So
Yeah, well, we know you hate me at times because I'm just an ass most of the time.
I don't hate you because even when you're being an ass, there's a logic to your assholishness.
There is? I didn't realize that.
Yes,
You're the first person to say that.
there's a logic to your assholishness in the same way as there is mine. So even when you're being an ass, I can't quite hold it against you because it makes logical sense.
Let this nigga have his general purpose slave. That's all I gotta say before I finish my food.
What? The general
Let him have his general purpose slave.
Wait. Who's the slave? What?
in our D&D game, I bought an orc slave.
Jay,
And
or not Jay? God damn
For
it!
me.
Carl,
Yes.
Sure,
the only-
why not?
Okay, you know, you saying you want a general purpose slave, and we're
Yeah.
having a discussion on this, and everyone's going to think now it's the whole reverse racism shit.
I don't care.
I'm just
Yeah.
bringing up a point
Can-
here, Jay. Or not Jay.
Not for
Jay.
nothing, but isn't reverse racism loving somebody because of a certain race, no matter if they know 'em or not?
honestly, it's
Okay,
more
so the
like-
term
it's
so the
more
term
like
reverse
prejudice.
racism isn't
Okay,
wrong.
you guys have totally perverted this beautiful conversation about slavery into something it is not. That's
Well, we're right. You know that we want slaves, but we're not allowed to say it.
But Corrupt, if you're going to be doing that, why don't you just become a dom, get into BDSM, and then you can have all the slaves you want?
I wanted to use one of those classes from the book, but you're like, nah, because they're overpowered.
Well, let's face it, dude. When you can just sit there and touch somebody to put them into submission, yeah, it's a little overpowered.
But by the way, can my orc slave be the harem guard class that we found in the fucking?
Yeah,
Book of Erotic Fantasy?
I already said that.
Okay.
We already went over that. That was a yes.
Be right back.
All right. So
Yeah, he wanted to be a class that's basically a
Oh, hey, switch.
dom or dominatrix.
hey, what's up? I don't know
Touching
if people can hear me or
people.
not.
Oh, we
Oh.
can hear you.
Yeah.
That can just touch somebody or hit them with a whip and basically put them into submission by breaking
So
their
so
will.
basically
And
so
doing
basically a
will
morph Sith from
statue.
Legend of the Seeker.
Yeah, basically. Basically, that's what it is. A broken ass Mord Sith.
By the way, speaking of shows that got canceled way before their time, everyone within the sound of my voice, watch Legend of the Seeker. And if you don't, fuck you.
That
Well, okay then.
that actually was a good show. And there was actually a book that it's based off of that.
Yes,
was even better.
the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. I have the first 9 books.
All right. I mean, I'll take your word for it. I haven't watched it. So.
Yeah, we were talking about how let's get you caught up. We were talking about how most of the, I'm not even going to say SJW or what the hell ever at this point, because it's just damn near everybody in media, has been basically using Mein Kampf, Marxism, basically all the totalitarian arguments, and basically forcing people to give answers without being able to answer their question, and putting them on backpedaling, and going on how culture has been fucking up and stagnated. That argument's what we've been going on.
It's based on the flaws of the Hegelian dialectical view of history, which I went over in my first 2 videos on my channel. For anyone who hasn't seen it yet, go watch them. Shameless plug for the win.
Dalton, I'm going to be kind. Please use small words for most of the viewers.
Yeah.
Because they won't understand and get angry. And let's face it, angry people smash.
No. I've said this to Jay Fairclub in our Discord a dozen times. I am not responsible for anyone's illiteracy.
Okay, so you're
That's not
presuming
even
they can't
illiteracy.
they're illiterate. That's a false assumption.
Yeah, that's not even a
Yeah,
literacy,
just-
man. That's most of these people, you know, they might be well learned or very intelligent, but there comes a problem. Most of us don't study a dictionary. I might study a dictionary to help me relearn how to speak, but most of us don't study a dictionary, sir.
Nor do I. I just have a propensity for picking up words and then being able
That's
to use
congratulations, Dalton. You like to use big words. Not everyone else does.
That's what we're saying. So people understand what you're trying to get at. Instead of tuning you out, please use smaller words for our general crowd.
It would depend to have a YouTube channel, or do you want to grow a YouTube channel? And I know this is going to sound unpalatable to you, but if you want to grow the YouTube channel, you do have to make it for more people than just yourself. Yeah, you have to make it more accessible.
Well, the problem is how I speak is how I think. So I would have to actively try to translate, and I can't.
Okay, so no,
Yes.
I'm gonna coin a challenge for you then, Dalton. Something that actually like I think would actually help you. Okay, so
Be right back.
to prove how smart you are, it proves that you're smarter if you can take the words, if you can then do it in the way you're normally okay with doing it, but then also dumbing it down for people who then want to get to the point where they want to be as learned as yourself. Remember, Gerbil even stated here, we're not all erudite. Remember that. Surprisingly, that actually works in this case scenario. And then I got quiet. But yeah, so it's a challenge. It's a personal challenge for yourself. So it shows how smart you are if not only can you explain it in your own layman's terms, but if you can also explain it in a layman's, but like in the lower layman term, so then people who are not as vocabulary enlightened as yourself can then also join in the conversation.
The problem is if I break it down too much, important information gets lost, and I then end up having to cycle back around, and people end up having to.
So then, Dalton, you're already admitting your own weakness.
Have to ask.
You're already admitting your own weakness then, because if you break it down and you think breaking it down will then make it too dumb for other people to actually like make it too dumb, and that people will lose information, that means that you're not as smart in it as you think you are.
Here's one thing, Dalton. If you can't, the part of communicating like more complex issues is being able to break it down. If you feel like by breaking it down too much, you're losing vital information, then you won't have been able. Then it really won't matter because you won't be able to communicate that point anyway. It's like if it's too, because if what you're saying is too over the head of the person you're speaking to, then they're not going to get what you're saying anyway. So you kind of have to learn how to break it down a little bit. And you have to find a way to find terminology or a way to translate that terminology into something the rest of the audience can understand.
Mm-hmm.
If that made no sense, I'm sorry. I'm
no, it made perfect sense. It's like, here's a good example. When you go to take training for customer service, what is one of the first things they teach you? They teach you to repeat what the person told you so the person knows that you understood what they said. Right? Mm-hmm. So as customer service, like you are offering a service by being like a person who would then be providing like this service on YouTube, right? Well, then to offer that service, then you have to show that you understand what your audience, that you perceive the level of intelligence that your audience is at, right?
So you're saying that I need to start treating people like idiots? Because I won't do that.
No.
I did not say any of that at all.
What he's trying to say, you have to realize that some people's vocabulary isn't as extensive as yours, and that not everybody has a super extensive vocabulary. Mind you, some people might speak multiple languages, which means one language that they have is not as strong as another. Also, you have to take into account there's multiple dialects of the English language as well, depending on what part of the country you're at.
Hey, Dalton, how many ways can I say USB stick? How about plug and play drive?
Thumb drive, flash drive,
zip drive.
No, zip drives are another thing entirely.
The thing is that it's not that you have to treat people like they're dumber than dumber or whatever. It's that when you're trying to communicate a message to someone else, you have to be careful of the terminology, as has been mentioned, because they may not understand it, especially if it's very intensive, especially if it's very intense and kind of abstract and shit. Then they won't be able to get it. And I understand that you're saying that, well, if I don't say some things or use some words or some language, then that doesn't get the information across.
Because some things just don't translate unless
I get that, but here, think about it this way, right? if you can't find a way to translate it and people aren't able to get what you mean, then I mean it doesn't matter because they won't have gotten what you meant anyway. So
Okay. Also, please see this as constructive. Nobody's insulting.
except for England team.
It
Totally
really-
throwing you on
it-
the bus.
It really is. It really
Oh,
is
yeah.
sounding like I should just give up because there are some things that I
It's
do.
No,
No.
Dalton, we're not telling you to
Uh-uh.
give up at all. Those words are not
Ew.
crossing our mind.
Not even a little bit.
No, let Uncle E here tell you, like give you some words of encouragement. I'll be right back.
Yeah. The basically when you're doing a YouTube channel, and this is just my take, everybody's got their own thing, and you figure, what do you want to do with it? Do you want to you're looking to educate, but in order to educate, you also have to entertain. And I'm not talking about dress like a clown and tap dance while you're doing it.
So you're
But you
saying
have to-
I'm not, which is the other
No, sir. No, what you're doing that whole thing that one woman did for what's his name. So what you're saying is, no, listen to the words. The more accessible you make it, the more entertaining it is. You're speaking when you're doing your thing, you are speaking to a certain amount of people. The people who can who know the big words, who understand the big words, who can listen to them and find entertainment within them. Yes, that's a limited audience. And if that's for you, then that's fine. By all means, if that's your goal, you've achieved it. If you're looking to grow and to expand, you don't have to be dumb. You just have to make it more accessible. That's all. We're not saying treat anybody like idiot. We don't use those big words towards you. Do you think we're treating you like an idiot when we don't?
No, because it's just not in you, but it is very much how I
In
think.
you.
And like I don't
Yes.
use any words verbally that I don't think inside my own head. Usually when I'm
Right.
talking, what you're getting is exactly the way my thoughts run together.
Okay, but Dalton, you're also using like negativity to try to make it seem like what we're saying. Like you're taking the extreme in this case scenario of what we've actually told you advice wise.
Yeah.
We're not telling you not to be yourself.
Now, you've heard me on my live streams and you've heard my videos. You hear me fuck this, fuck that, fuck. But on the videos, I'm not doing that because I want to make the videos more accessible, and that kind of language does turn certain people off.
Mm-hmm.
While my natural, just being natural is, cursing as much or as bad or worse than any of you guys. It's not being not who you are. I worked at theme party game where I'm happy crappy and then I can turn on, and I go backstage and I'm myself again. It's not being yourself. It's just finding a different way. You are not a single layered person.
Yeah, and Drubble's right. If something is dry, and dull, it can be a turnoff for some people. So here,
Why am I not getting the?
Oh, you have to turn on the little group chat on the side there, the little blue icon.
Oh, I'm not even there. I'm on the YouTube thing. Okay.
She's in the Hangouts. That's why.
Hey guys, I'm back. Sorry, I had to take that phone call.
So, for sure, no problem. Let me here. Actually, hey Dalton, do you know what I sound like when I do customer service for people? Like, because I do an IT and I have to sound really nice on the phone. Hey, thank you for calling support services. My name is. How can I help you today? I sound nothing like that on the Discord, do I?
No.
Exactly. I put on airs. That's what we're telling you to do. We're not telling you not to be yourself. We're telling you to put on airs.
All it is you're tailoring your behavior to the social situation. As you notice, I generally don't do it because I really don't care. I have no one doing it.
You're retired.
To me, that would come across as being disingenuous and selling out is the thing.
It's not being disingenuous, okay? When I did plumbing, okay, I was always very polite. I didn't cuss. I was being helpful, and I told people straight up how things were. I'm not one of those salesmen that's when I was doing my plumbing work saying, "Oh, well, you need to replace blah 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 blah." When in actuality, look, you just have this problem. I can fix it. You're going to have other problems with these components later on. I can either fix them now for you while I'm here if you have the money, and if you want it done. Or I can just replace the whole thing, and it's going to be cheaper in the long run. That is up to you.
There's a difference between selling out, censorship, and tact.
Yeah, and then like for instance, say I'm going to see certain doctors of mine that I have to go see. Okay, I am going to be very polite, very so on and so forth.
This is sorry,
I'm-
not to cut you off, but the only way I know how to be tactful is to be more prim and proper. And what I'm hearing is that my erudition, let's go with that word for now, my erudition, which is, let's face it, slightly more like elaborate than most people's, is itself a turnoff, and I don't know how to fix it without being more so.
Okay, so you decided to use the word erudition. There's a good example right there. Why did you use that term?
Because Gerbil mentioned it earlier, and I found it useful and was calling it back.
Okay.
So here's the thing. What else could you have used instead of erudition that might have been more more common?
No examples are springing to mind.
On the other hand,
appropriate.
here's another piece of advice. Don't change. Do exactly what you're doing until you feel more comfortable. And you can find that particular thing. Use this time, your time with while you do have only a few subscribers and you're only doing a couple of videos, to become more accessible.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you're going to feel uncomfortable, and I know this is almost a 180, but the truth is if you're going to feel uncomfortable doing videos in a way that does not use the language, then you're not going to come to a place where people are going to be comfortable with you. So until you are comfortable doing that, yeah, do what you're doing, man.
Yeah, to me, it comes across as false, and I can't.
It's not false.
It's just not in me to.
But I think but Dalton, I think you're
more than I already do.
Dalton,
So,
you're nuking it, man. You're overthinking it. Here's the thing. You need
that's
to
the
have
only way
more.
I know how to think.
Dalton,
God damn you.
Dalton, slow down, calm down, and think for a second.
You're among friends.
What you really need is more social interaction. Is what the problem is. With more social interaction, you will learn to choose the words that best suit the situation that you are in. Okay? Like, for instance, I literally go out of my way when I'm out and about to help me relearn how to speak because of the brain damage I took. I literally go out of my way to sit down and to talk to random people, and I try to get at least 30 minutes. Now, mind you, I can talk to people for hours on end. Most of my family hates it. But that's the thing. It's you're working on your social dialogue and interactions with people to get to a point where you're comfortable using varying terminologies. Like, I will change my terminology based on the situation of who I'm talking to and what I'm dealing with. Okay? So that way I can get my point across. Because some people, unless you use large words, they think you're an idiot. Where in other situations, if they think you're using a large word, they think you're talking down to them. And that's all based on what they've dealt with. Now, mind you can go back and forth between using both.
Yeah.
No problem.
Like, here, if you want some examples, I don't know if you watch Aiden Paladin and Teal Deer, but they use dry content as well. But pay attention to how they break up their videos to try to like make it more accessible to other people.
Because, Dalton, you actually have very good ideas. You know, they're very well thought out. They're very well planned out. Your problem that you're running into is your delivery. It's like when I start cracking jokes with people. Okay?
So, as usual, everything about me is fine except the person who happens to be using it, which is me. As fucking usual.
Dalton, oh my!
I am a bad steward of the self that I was given. So that's
you are a silly one.
Okay,
man, you're taking this the wrong way, Dalton. What we're trying to tell you is, It's not yourself that's the problem. Well, one, you need more self-confidence, sir. That's one of your
I
problems.
simply can't do that without being arrogant. That's not within me.
Dalton.
Dude, you can be an arrogant bastard and still have people think you're funny and a good orator.
Yeah.
Come on, let's look one of the best orators of the 20th century from England.
Chris. Chris came into the chat and he's trying to trigger you, Dalton. He's telling you Last Days of Magic was awesome.
Let's
I can only deal with one of these like earth-shattering fucking things at a time, Chris.
Let's look at Churchill really quick, man. Let's look at Churchill. All right, the man used very big words on a regular basis, but he also would change speech depending on the speech for people. But here's the thing: that man was an arrogant prick by all accounts. A very good man, a very smart man, and very good at his job, and a very good friend by other accounts. But what everybody said at the very end, and I'm just going to say, he was an arrogant bastard. Okay? And you've got to realize something. You can be an arrogant bastard and sound arrogant as shit, but if you're speaking in such a way that people understand you and you can move them and you can tug on the heartstrings and not only the emotions but tug on the illogical aspects of things, you can get everything you want to cross out, no problem. It's just you have to work on that. That's all we're saying. You just have to work on speaking to people. That's it.
Okay. Dalton.
What?
When I say framing, what do I mean? Whenever I use framing and whenever I talk about framing and shit. What do I mean by that?
You mean the context and the social, cultural substructure of the point and how it affects people's natural propensity for creating a narrative.
Okay.
Now, if I were to use the term framing, what would you think I'm talking about? Because you know some of my background.
Well, either what I just explained with corrupt or something revolving around like actual like engineering or like.
You'd be correct. I'd be going with the engineering and construction aspect. I wouldn't be using it as, unless I say a frame of reference, which then I would be talking about.
Then ellipses with the previously mentioned concept.
That's what we're trying to get at. You have to look at what people's backgrounds are.
I can look at I can change my messaging for people's perspective. I just can't change my terminology unless they themselves have a specific kind of terminology. Like, for example, if I'm talking to an engineer, I'll try my damnedest to use more engineering lingo. But I don't think in terms of the quote unquote common or default human being. That's just not.
We're not even common.
There's no such thing as common or default human being. don't kid yourself.
Everybody's friggin' different, man. But you've got to look at something. If you start trying to use more engineering terms and sound like you know what you're talking about to an engineer that actually knows what they're talking about, they're going to think you're a friggin' idiot. Where, for instance, I'm a technician. Okay, you start trying to talk to me about varying electronic devices, and you start trying to get into the nitty gritty of it by using those terms, you're going to run into the problem where I'm going to start looking at you going, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, you might be trying to understand, but you don't know what you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. And that's the problem is there is no standard like it's easier with different subsets of people that have professional standards.
Okay, how about this one?
Most people, the defining characteristic of most relaxed or unpolished language is that it's by its very nature either overly expressive or imprecise, and I just that is where
one thing it would help not to categorize people as standard or common. That makes it easier for you to interact and relate to other people if you don't think of them in those types of categories. Like Jay calls me like the whitest black man he knows. I don't actually speak like this. It's not my normal speaking voice. I speak differently. But when I'm around certain groups, I change the way I can speak. That's what you're doing when you talk to what is it? Technical people. You just change the terminology you use, right?
Are you talking like this so you don't scare the white people?
Because I actually
No,
know
certain
the proper, like, I actually have done
Corrupt
enough
sounds like
research
a
where I
thug,
know
guys.
some of the
He sounds
technical,
like he's from the deep south.
but I don't, and there is no, general human precise language, because again the general default is things that are overly expressive or imprecise. There's no.
Here's the thing about human language and body language in general. All right, we're gonna go with text first. Okay, say we send you a text message, right? What's the general problem with sending text messages to people? You get a lot of misunderstandings, correct?
You can't indicate figurative language or irony or sarcasm or
you can,
humor.
but
Well, you can, but it requires a lot of knowing the person previously and
not
a lot
even
of,
knowing the
like,
person previously. It has to do with knowing the written language to a very precise point. Okay, I suck when it comes to writing. Hence why I don't do text messages. People misunderstand me. That's why I don't like typing either. All right, I'd prefer to speak to someone. Now, you also run into the problem depending on, because you speak, sir, very monotonely. You generally stay with the same tone. Okay. Now, staying with the same tone to keep someone calm and collected is good and dandy. But if you're trying to get a point across and make it funny, or to show
because
that
I don't find that I speak with a monotone. Is that something that everyone else can attest to as well? Because I don't hear that when I listen to myself.
I'm afraid if we say yes, you're going to go on and I hate myself trip. But yeah, you do.
I'm going to do that anyway. There's no way of getting around that, dude.
I'm just gonna just say yes. I don't give two shits.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do.
Here's the thing, bro. What you need to start doing is recording yourself and playing it back to yourself, and then doing it over and over again until you can, and then start talking to people in person. You need to talking to people on a computer is fine and dandy, but you need to have the social interaction of one-to-one conversation with an individual, so that way you can start.
See, I love Dribble.
The problem is
saying you're a lucky git because you all do a lucky git.
The problem is most people just are not worth the effort. It takes me a lot of effort to be sociable, and I put the effort into you guys because I find you guys to be worth it. But most people just are not worth the effort.
If most people aren't worth the effort, then what's the point in making a YouTube video?
Exactly. You need to realize something.
Here's another aspect though. Here's another challenge to Freedom. I mean, if you can't do the first one, if you can't say you can dumb yourself down, how about you catch everybody else up to your level?
All right. You know what you should do? First off, Dalton, punch a switch point here in the face.
No.
Sweet. I love it. I love it. No.
The pain will make him stronger.
Why are you offering him a good time?
It's just going to open my fucking darkness barrier, and then I'm going to be an even worse person. And I do not need to be an even worse person right now.
This one down a path I didn't expect.
Hold on. I just want to say
this is going down the pity party path.
One second. I'm not trying to make fun of you, but darkness barrier does sound like a cool anime attack. It does. Fucking switch point. Don't leave me out here. You know that shit's true.
I mean, yeah, it does.
I'm going to say something that'll probably be the worst thing you're going to ever hear in your entire life, Dalton. You're not a bad guy.
What?
You're not a bad guy.
False.
And quit
always say you're a bad guy. You're not a bad guy.
Dalton, you're not a bad guy. Quit pitying yourself. I've done more evil shit in my lifetime than you could ever imagine.
Okay, wait. Dalton,
no.
Dalton, why do you think it's a false statement?
Because the version of me that you guys get is the best version of me. I put a lot of, frankly, homicidal rage in the back of my mind, and I do not express it because I know I am a terrible person.
Do you have bodies that we need to call the police about?
This is why I'm so resistant to criticism, because the version of me that you guys are getting is the best version of me. So if the best version of me isn't even adequate, then what the fuck is even worth anything?
Here's the problem you're
because
running into.
I've already not. knocked down myself to the proverbial cream of the crop, and that's still not fucking good enough. Jesus fucking Christ.
Dude, get off the pity wheel, man. You keep knocking yourself down and breaking yourself down, and that's your problem.
Because that's what people ask for.
No, we're not asking you to break yourself
Actually,
down.
I say get off the pity party because you're taking away from our fun. The whole point is that we get to knock each other down and break each other's balls, and you're sitting there doing it yourself. What fun is that? Give us a chance.
Because if I don't do it, I wouldn't be worth associating with to begin with.
Dude, you need to start relaxing.
I am a terrible person, so I do my best to not be terrible.
You need to realize something here, okay? Everybody has a dark side. Everybody has a good side, okay? Mind you, some people's good sides are more fucked up than other people's.
Well, I mean, it is corrupt. I mean, I should have corrupt us.
And some people's dark sides are something that you should truly be afraid of. No
I'm
offense,
sunshine
man.
and rainbows. I don't know what you're talking about.
Seriously,
dude, we're not talking what you shit out of your ass last week, okay?
Seriously, I'm like, dude, I'm fucking pure, man. I bring
no, not like hashtag corrupt the stream, everybody. Okay.
No, corrupt.
I'm a human puppy meat.
You do have an edge, but it only prevents you from getting fucked with. It doesn't. I wouldn't qualify it as darkness, but
so I want to put. Gerbil said we're all dicks, and she's right. We are all dicks, and also Undead Quinn. And Undead Quinn is already in the comments telling you not to be hard on yourself. I mean, come on now. See, people clearly just want you to also like they want you to be part of the party, but like it's also a problem if you yourself don't let yourself be part of that party.
See, like
I'm hard on myself, so other people don't need to be.
Here's the problem, dude.
Even with all the work I put into it, it's still sometimes not adequate enough.
Bro, when you keep breaking your own balls,
I don't have enough energy left for this shit.
Dude,
we don't need to
keep
talk about
breaking
this,
your
man.
own balls, man, you're just screwing yourself over. All of us have broken our own balls. All of us have learned the valuable lesson that you can't be breaking your own balls all the time. Yes, you can regret shit you've done. You can regret things that you think about. You can regret all sorts of stuff. But at the very end of the day, man, you run into one problem. Everybody knows that you are your own worst critic. Everybody sitting here, we all know we're our own worst critic. The problem is, sir, is you have to realize that you are your own worst critic and your own worst enemy at the same time. That is humanity in general. And that is the problem that you have not learned yet. And you need to, because if you don't, you sitting there beating yourself up all the damn time, it's just going to turn you fucking psycho, and you're going to do something really stupid.
I hit myself that way so other people won't have to.
Dude, you don't have to hate yourself. That's the problem.
You gotta, not hate.
You don't. Well, if you're hitting yourself, you're hating yourself, dude.
That might have been that, and I was being metaphorical about it anyway. But
I was being more metaphorical and literal because I'm a dirty bastard. But
I mean, hey, if you're into hitting yourself, and if that's your sexual pleasure, at least make sure that you have a safety word.
It's not. I derive no pleasure from myself.
Just make sure you don't get into the choking thing, because we don't need to hear about you fapping it and dying in your closet by hanging yourself.
Asphyxiation is a very dangerous place.
Okay, I think. All right, so
let's take dark time. Let's change this up, shall we?
Okay.
Well, we're not allowed to choke ourselves with while masturbating. What am I doing on this live stream?
I never said you couldn't. I just said you need to be very careful.
This is my live stream. You can do whatever you want. Choke yourself with your own cock if you can.
Dude,
it's a whole different game here. Yeah.
That'd be scary. I got a question. Is that the reason why you haven't left your house in like eons corrupt, is because you can suck your own dick?
Dude, how did you know? Are you watching me? Oh, no, not really. Honestly, I wish I could.
I might be filming it and selling it to get the proceeds.
That's hilarious. Honestly, I wish I could sometimes not leave my house. God damn. There's too much shit going on. I can't even fucking sit here and shit post with y'all.
Yeah.
I mean, have an excellent conversation about sexy kobold ladies. There we go. Also, Gerbil.
Gerbil gave you consent to hit her on Discord, I think.
Okay. To hit
only though if it's for a FAP, apparently.
No.
I don't know.
No.
No. Gerbil is saying it's okay to if you want to hit her up on Discord, you can. And the only thing you should fat to are kobolds because apparently she's into lizards and iguanas and all sorts of weird shit.
Gerbil, are you a scaly? That's okay if you are.
Gerbil, I got a question. Are you a scaly person or are you a hairy person?
I like how like that.
She said no. She said no. She's not into scale.
This is a conversation.
This is a conversation now. Yes, it's a running gag. Okay, she's just using the running kobolds gag. Okay.
Well, so in other words, what she's saying is she likes to dress in a kobold costume when she goes to town.
Mm-hmm. Also, apparently, Chris thinks your fetishes are weird, Englantine. You know, with the choking and the Asian thing. But
I don't like to choke Asians. Don't get it wrong. I'm not choking Asians.
He likes to have Asians choke him.
But at England team should probably be more concerned about getting choked by Asians. Like he's like a fragile old man who wears like sandals and shit.
Say, oh my god, I'm in the.
The funniest image is when England team was like,
"What's scheme lock, guys?
What's up?
What's scheme lock? I'm trying to."
Oh, Dalton has dropped from the call. That's unfortunate. His phone probably fucked up. His phone probably died on him, but he dropped.
Either that or Dalton's self-loathing has reached a point where he got super depressed and had to get off because he was getting ready.
I'm wondering if she means Grimlock, like from the Transformers. And she wrote Grimlock by mistake.
I just assumed this because you have a. I just assumed.
Oh, okay, yeah, she meant Grimlock from the Transformers. And Grimlock's a good choice. I mean, he's a dinosaur.
You know who I blame for that entire fiasco? Gerbil. God damn it, Gerbil.
You're only blaming her because she can't talk back to you.
Her Gerbil foo is strung bullshit. She can't talk back. She's talked back to me nonstop for the last 2 weeks.
Yep, got dad right.
Yeah.
That was surprisingly dark. Do y'all want to go to another topic that's not so heavy?
I mean, like, I came in and apparently we all started like talking about Dalton. And yes, Gerbil wants to admit how much of an evil bitch she is, and I'll agree with that. She is an evil bitch, but we love her. We love her for it, and it's okay.
All right, what's up, bro?
What about space travel? What about space travel and mechs? Let's go into some other sci-fi craziness.
Okay, so I'm kind of hoping if we do space travel that we reach the point that it's kind of like pretty much seamless, kind of like levels of Xenosaga or like Star Trek, somewhere around that area.
Well, then, what theory of space travel do you think would work? The warp bubble from Star Trek, the jump gate from Babylon 5, the slipstream from Andromeda. The list fucking goes on.
I mean, I think we would need some kind of like stream device similar to that of like of any of these shows really pretty much offer, because I mean, like that's the only way to go through like far reaches without it, you know, with like a sense of time and how much like we can do. Because I mean, there's only so much light speed can handle, right? So like you'd have to have something that like does some crazy levels of teleportation or just some crazy like levels of transfer, like some crazy levels of speed.
You're talking about 0 point jump is what you're talking about.
Pretty much. I think that'd be the most logical explanation of what would work, at least.
Yeah, except if you think about it, that'd make combat a bitch in space.
Okay.
I mean, it depends on how like accurate it gets.
I'm kind of interested since like England team, you read like a shit ton of comics. I'm actually interested in your thoughts about like space travel and such.
Like real life space travel, or
basically like I guess what we're talking about now, which is just like mech spaceship.
Reflecting life, seriously.
My thoughts on space. I'm still kind of confused. Are we talking about mech?
Like spaceships and it's like just kind of fantasy stuff, right? Just sci-fi in general. So basically anything, like whether it's real life or fantasy, anything. Like I'm just kind of curious on your thoughts about.
Well, I think the most realistic portrayal of it has been Firefly. You get the feeling that they're actually living on the ship, even though there's quarters, even on like the Enterprise. it doesn't have a lived-in look. It doesn't have a look like people are actually
really
using the
clean.
facilities.
Yeah, it's like really clean and sanitized.
But the Serenity looks like it's been around the block, like people are using it, like people have left things laying around. That's, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it's space travel, so I'm not exactly sure what the conversation is. But if I were to pick my favorite depiction of it, that would be it. Like the Millennium Falcon and such, that's complete bullshit. I can't believe anybody's living on the Millennium Falcon. But if you're traveling from planet to planet and star system to star system, there is a degree of we're sitting, we're eating, we're shitting, we're doing everything that humans do on the spaceship.
So you're saying it looks like a Pollock painting in black light.
Say again?
You're saying it looks like a Jackson Pollock painting in black light.
Yeah, it should be like that. Yeah, seriously. But because you have people doing there would be a time somebody would get sick, have the flu, and throw up on the floor somewhere. And I don't get that from the Enterprise. The Enterprise, no matter which one, always seems like it's run by Disney. Sterile. Yeah, like every time something happens, there must be a cleaning crew coming up and, not only cleaning it, but disinfecting, doing everything, because it just looks it looks sterile.
Well, that's why I like the stuff on Sci-Fi recently, because that show, the ships look like they're lived in. They have battle damage. They're jacked up. You can tell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I kind of think that looks more realistic. Is it better? I don't know. I'm a huge Star Trek fan, not like an ultimate nerd or anything like that, or geek, I should say. Because I'm not one of those that can say, oh, episode 336 of this. I can't tell you. Actually, I couldn't tell you what episode 3 was.
Chrono Code, I know that if he was here.
Geek. I don't know. Oh, no, but that's the whole thing. I don't think I've ever been that kind of geek for anything.
Well, hell, even if you look at Babylon 5 was the same way. If you look at it, the damn things look like worn, lived in. Because think about it. Most of the ships and stuff, they're not going to be, it's like a military warship or a freighter. Those things are going to be in service for anywhere from 30 to 100 friggin' years. And I think the Firefly was considered like 150 years old. It was like one of the original ships that was put out.
Mm-hmm.
And you can see it.
What color shirt would the cleaning crew have? Oh my
god. Probably white jumpsuits. They'd be janitors.
And wouldn't that be an awesome job to have? I'm sorry, but it's like I don't have to go to fight the Gorn lizard people. I would just have to hang out on a ship and maybe I can. Yeah, I don't know.
No, dude, that'd be a crappy job, especially with aliens, because then you got to think about is there shit
you're right, because
does it create a poison gas?
Yeah,
I might get some sort of crazy parasite.
Oh, you mean you have to make sure you have to have like the biohazard suits while cleaning.
That's one thing they never did for Star Trek. With all the battle damage those ships get, I feel sorry for the goddamn janitors and maintenance and repair crews. Think about it.
I've always taken into consideration that the reason like the Star Trek fleet ships and like at least in Star Trek were as clean as they were, it's because it's like a military ship, and there's like, if you know anything about military, they're very. They have like a very this is like
I can see that. You're right.
Yeah. Imagine cleaning
military ships for the most part very sterile. But here's the thing: you can tell that they're lived in because within about a week you'll have wear marks on paint from people walking down the hallways, and then they got to repaint, and you see the layers of paint and whatnot on the stuff.
Yeah, like I'll agree with that, but I'm like saying there is like a level of. There is a level of like they have like a required level of cleanliness that they want the crew to have, because like you never know if like the captain or the general or whoever like high ranking is going to come by and be like, why is your place like this right now, kind of thing.
Imagine cleaning up Jabba the Hutt's toilet. Like, holy shit,
dude! No one wants to clean up Jabba the Butt's toilet, dude. That'd be nasty.
It's just like, I mean, he probably eats those frog things inside of it too. Jesus fucking Christ. Also,
It's like
Gerbil
explosive diarrhea.
Gerbil said it's 40,000 whose ships are old. Wait.
I agree with you, Warhammer 40K ships are fucking ancient.
I mean, they're supposed to be though. But that point of like 40K is that like the ships are where the people live most of their lives.
Yep.
So
And they only replace the ships when they get blown up. So
So yeah, those that's a whole different like thing entirely. Yeah.
And those things are basically like, for the most part, set up as warships and freaking colonization ships too.
Colonization ships. Oh yeah, they are actually, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like, yeah, like the Warhammer ships are like ridiculous. Though, like they break physics. So,
All right, Starship. Okay, Undead Quinn said Star Trek is Marx's dream.
It is.
oh yeah,
And if you guys have ever played the video game, I'm brain farting again. Excuse me a sec. I'll just go look it up. It's a spaceship game. Eve. Okay, that's like the capitalist stream right there.
Hmm.
You know, it's literally, when you look at all of it, it all boils down to ideals, and that's all most writing, movies, and stuff is ideals.
I mean, yeah, like I mean, you have like ideals on specific things. The better question is like which one of the like how deep are you involved with those ideals, and like so, and that's actually very important. Like when doing writing in nature, is how much of those ideals are you willing to put aside for the narrative of the story to make sure the narrative is good, or are you going to be so engulfed in that like ideal that you're going to make the story kind of feel
like crap?
Yeah. And that's actually like, because it's like, is this story going to be a story, or is it just only going to be you spouting your ideals
and propaganda? Yeah.
Is it going to be DC Comics or Marvel Comics?
Ooh, I like that.
Ouch. That burn is hot. Oof.
I like that, especially since Marvel seems to just be doubling down a lot lately. But like, it's kind of like and now Thor is here, and he doesn't feel like Thor. He feels like
read Hawkman instead. That's the if you want alpha male with a hammerish kind of thing, Hawkman. It's a good book. Guy carries a mace, acts like a guy. Not necessarily, Andrew Dice Clay level, but he's a guy. He's not whatever they were trying to portray Thor as.
They're trying to portray Thor as a beefy metrosexual?
Yeah, I guess so.
If you I remember, if you think about a lot of the male characters now from Marvel, they all kind of have similar personalities, don't they?
Yep.
All Marvel characters have similar personalities anymore. They're the writers anymore, and they're not the characters. So all the writers act the same, therefore all the characters act the same.
And it might not even be the writers are the same. People want to keep their jobs. They're doing what they're told.
Well, we have seen it where people leave Marvel and they do better.
So that's probably what it is people are doing what they're told to do so they don't lose their job, because everybody needs the paycheck.
Both Gail Simone and Brian Michael Bendis has done better work at DC.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
The new Plastic Man issue that Gail put out was actually really good.
My point exactly. I was talking to somebody complaining about the new Plastic Man.
About what? It's too damn good? Or is it the forced dick joke?
The forced dick joke.
Oh, it was a very forced dick joke.
I agree. It was a forced dick joke.
Didn't make the rest of the book bad. It was just a forced dick joke.
Yeah, and as I told them, that's more based off of the person not doing enough research on the character.
However, I do feel like I felt it was leaning towards a more elongated man than it was towards like Plastic Man at points, but not like a bad way. No?
Exactly. But, But like when you start, like one of the things I always find interesting when you're reading the comics and sci-fi books and sci-fi shows, and then you wait 5-10 years, and nowadays it's a little quicker, but you see that technology literally apparent. Because think about it. Remember in Star Trek how they had the touch screens and all that crap?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. And what do we have now? We have touch screens. And the thing that gets me is, like, if we're putting all this push towards technology, towards computers, animatronics, robotics, and things like that, but you notice those are the things that sell instead of doing a global push towards like spacefaring technology, radiation protection, genome therapy to get rid of cancer and so on and so forth. If we were to push towards that, and I think the main problem is everybody sitting there bitching and moaning about playing God when it comes to certain things. It was what's really slowing us down in technological development. Think about it. We have the technology right now where you can grow a kid in a test tube. We got the technology right now where, yes, we could do genome therapy to remove like genetic-based diabetes, cancer, heart disease, so on and so forth through genetic engineering. We can already do that. We don't.
Joe also wants a radio because she thinks radio is the wave of the future. No.
Well, I still want my radio.
We also have the technology to make people live quite literally hundreds of years. The problem is the human mind can't handle it.
We have we also as a society, we're so focused on just like random stupid shit. Like Grim, like you said earlier, Grim.
Mm-hmm.
Like, oh yeah. Also, Gerbil said that Yellow Flash disliked it.
Oh yeah, for the hated the plastic.
Doesn't Yellow Flash hate everything though?
He apparently thinks that Superman is ruined because Bendis is on it. So I mean, like,
oddly
whatever.
enough, for all things considered, we have similar tastes in comics.
Actually, I've been enjoying the Bendis Superman so far. I mean, it's not my favorite run of Superman. Like, I'll be honest, I've been reading Superman for years.
I feel like it's kind of like this, right? Because it's like, I don't think a lot of people who like may probably differ that much in terms of what they actually like, but then you have that one big book that's for whatever reason it does become polarizing for a lot of people.
Fine, whatever.
Not read. She hasn't read Bendis' Superman.
I haven't read Bendis' either yet, so
it's written for the trades. It's decent, not great, and he gives the same information in the first 3 issues. So really, issue 2 is completely unnecessary. It repeats so much.
I mean,
I feel
like it's a little overly negative on things, but I mean, I'd agree mostly with what Dan said.
Like I said, it's decent. I'm not saying it's bad. It's decent, but it's not. I can't say it's good because it repeats far too often.
Yeah, but I mean, like one thing I will give him definitely, yeah, he's like, so what's going on here? Like, I'll give him this much. It's at least he's like toned down the Bendis again. I'm not sure if that's editor or him that started toning it down. There is a lot of like, and I'll agree with you. There's a lot of word salad where so a lot of things are repeating here and there, but so it's one of those things where it's like you got some good, you got some bad. I think though that he is I feel like there's that energy there though that he's missing from Marvel though. So that's at least good for him.
Here's the question though: has Marvel sapped a lot of the creative juices he sort of had?
That might be part of it.
Well, there was recently like a thing, an article Bounding Into Comics put out saying that something about like how Sean Gordon Murphy said jokingly that Marvel couldn't afford him, and I'm wondering if that because like we're also hearing like them losing Brian Michael Bendis and Jeff Lemire, and then like one of their key artists and stuff like that, and I'm like, well, what if there's actually like some level of truth in that joke kind of thing?
I mean, it would make sense why they're going really cheap and hiring basically slave workers. Like, nobody's gonna pay Cena Grace anything. Like, who's gonna pay Cena Grace like top dollar, right?
Yeah, and I do agree with you, Gerbil. Bendis can write well when he's on a hero he likes, but you can make that argument about almost any writer, really.
Like his only real purpose is to market this fucking book and make us look good, so that the IPs probably look good for Disney. Like, they have like a purpose, and it's not really to write comics anymore. So I'm not really surprised that he said that they can't really afford any of those people or even want to hire them. Because if you're basically going to turn Marvel into IP farms, which I see is like the ultimate destination, then why not? God, that sounds really depressing.
That's because it is.
No.
Well, I don't think Engleteen, I don't think you really ever cared that much, did you, though, Engleteen? Because, you're more of a DC guy anyway.
Yeah, I am, but I do like the Marvel characters. You know, I'm a collector just like anybody else. And
I'm more of a DC guy too. I'll admit to that, but I mean, I like a healthy industry.
Yeah, you actually got to be depressed about it, because once that occurs, it's just going to go. All the other comics are going to go the same fucking way.
Yep.
You know, you got to realize something. It's like with, okay, back in the day. All right, look at customer service.
I'm not the first one to say that, by the way.
Look at customer service back in the 40s and 50s. Shit. Look at manufacturing in the 40s, 50s, and 60s and 70s, okay? And this doesn't matter whatever country you're looking at. They made things to last. They made them well. They took their time to develop them properly. They actually did great customer service. And now, look at now. You go to the store, they give you the wrong food, and they're like, oh, fuck you. Too bad. Or you complain because you bought a brand new computer and it broke within 3 days, and they're like, oh, too bad. Fuck you. Go buy another one. That's the kind of shit that's occurring. They don't make stuff like they used to. They don't. It's all about how can I make that quick buck. It's not, we're trying to build something here, make something better. You know, they're not into that anymore. All of them are just trying. A lot of them are steering towards making the quick buck. DC's trying to stay away from that. A few of the other smaller comic companies are trying to build something, so they're staying away from that. But you're noticing that with everything. It's like with the movies, okay? They keep pumping out feature after feature after feature of that next and that series, and if you notice, they keep going downhill. Why? Because they don't give a shit. They just want that quick dollar. And only very few take the time to make a proper sequel.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? You make a good point with with the sequel thing, but we also have a problem where, you have the thing where the sequel now, when it comes to movies, comics, anything. So here's the thing. One thing I've learned is a comic, even though, let's say, a mini-series happens or a series gets canceled prematurely, if enough of it sells, in the single issues or enough of it sells in, trades, it'll come back sometimes as a sequel series if it's popular enough or if it has, a niche crowd that actually, picks up on it. Or now that's, they justify bringing it back for that short stunt, right? Again, the same thing could happen with a movie, too, if they find, there's some money to be made from that, too. Right. Mm-hmm. But the other concern is what about these scenarios where they falsely do it? Something doesn't actually have enough sales, doesn't have enough propaganda behind it, and doesn't have enough enough pull behind it, but then we still make that sequel to it. So a good example of this is something like Iceman, the new Iceman, him coming back for whatever, you know what I mean? Or
all the cheesy, crappy Lost Boy movies after the first one?
Yeah, exactly. Why would those happen even though there's, no financial gain behind them? Do you think it's to try to get weaning sales from the original still to some degree? Or do you think it's just done for the sake of, well, we have no
keep
ideas?
The IP?
Yeah.
Because they might... Yeah. I think it's to keep the IP most of the time when it's like that. But that's just me.
Keep the IP or milk residual sales.
And if they say that, oh, we have this new trans, lesbian, Muslim woman of color to create this new character. It's more good press.
Yeah, and a lot of them are trying to get good press, and
It's like
they're looking at the press release.
like what? So it explains why the art quality drops too, right? Because if the only thing is like, oh, look at how cool America's cover art is, it doesn't matter. Nothing else really matters. I mean, and I'll be the first one to say I like some of America's covers, the early ones anyway. Though some of them are awful. Like,
Oh yeah, like I mean,
That's just showing that, like I said, the quality.
The only ones I didn't like were the first 12.
They're trying to do the mass production method of everything instead of doing the quality production. It's like, say I were to make a table, right? Table and six chairs to a table. All right, I go and charge you $5,000 for the table and chairs, right? All handmade, well manufactured, lasts for 100 years, very gorgeous. Took a lot of time in doing it. And then you go to Walmart and you can get something that's inferior in quality, cheaper, and it might look pretty for 5 seconds, but it falls apart if you take good scrutiny of it. And if you really look at it, it doesn't look very good when you get close up. That's what they're doing. They're doing the Walmart brand of production.
all right, like, oh yeah, Englentine, what did you say? You only really like Twitch cover?
I said the only ones I didn't like were 1 through 12.
You don't like any of the covers, really?
I didn't. Well, no. I mean, I liked everything because it was horrendously bad.
Yeah.
But no.
I mean, like everything's garbage, but I thought some of the covers were cool, like that one that imitated Beyonce. I think where she has the head on her head.
That's cool. You know, and sorry, I did listen, and you're right when I said, well, that's what you think. I was harsh, but in all honesty, that's cool. I mean, I don't mind. Sometimes we have a different opinion, you and I.
Oh, like,
cool.
no, like I can get why. I was just gonna say, like, I can get why people might think it's stupid because it's like you have a head on your head, like you can't fucking see, though. It's retarded. It's just, I don't know. I just thought, I guess it's because it reminded me of something else that looked kind of cool, and that's why I liked it. So honestly, I may actually be of your opinion that the only reason I thought it looked nice was because
it was a derivative of the album cover. That's cool. You know, you're not the first person who told me that they liked that cover. I got that on some of the comments. The only thing good about this book was the cover. I did not know about the Beyonce cover. I don't care about Beyonce's music, so that didn't connect with me. But if you are a fan, I can see why it could connect with you.
To be honest, though, like I don't know if that says what that says about the quality of the cover itself. If it's more or less just we're going to get people to like it because it reminds them of something that's good.
Yeah, it's not the cover itself; it's their relationship to Beyonce that they're enjoying. Right.
So I actually may be of your opinion because it's like if I only really like the cover because of like some Beyonce album, then
well, it's a way to look at it, you know.
Well,
but yeah, I do have to apologize to you for the other day. One, I listened to it again, and wow, I stepped on you more than a couple of times when you were trying to talk. I apologize for that, man. And next live stream, I'm going to apologize to the audience there as well. And you're right. When I said that, I said, well, that's if you like it that way. It did sound a little rough.
No problem.
Yeah.
Thanks, by the way.
But I meant it as, we have different opinions. It's all right.
Hey guys, I got a question for you about the comic art and whatnot.
Yeah.
They started doing like the old school painting and cell shading stuff like they used to do for the old comics, like they do for the sci-fi books and whatnot.
Yeah.
Do you guys think that the art quality's dropped drastically in the last several years?
Yes, I do. I think there has been a bit of a drop. It's also become acceptable, and that's kind of sad.
No, I
but
agree.
That's only within with Marvel. I think DC truly cares about their art. I think Marvel has just dropped off in quality. and in
Well,
all shapes and sizes.
Do you think that's because Papa Disney bought them out? I personally do, because if you
No.
look at Papa Disney, they're not using the old cell shading stuff. You can tell the difference. They're using all computer based.
Yeah.
I actually think it's. I don't think it's more Disney than the people that they hired to run it.
Well, okay. So there is proof that both there is talks that and the proof that both Disney Entertainment and Marvel Entertainment are separate entities, because Disney Entertainment owns MCU. They don't technically own all of. They own some shares of Marvel Entertainment, but not all shares of Marvel Entertainment. So whether or not they have a decision in what art processes are used at Marvel Entertainment or not is a different debate.
I think it was Alexis Alonso, and now I think it's CB Cebulski who are primarily to blame. But that's just my opinion.
Yeah.
What is yours? Leave a comment and below. I'm sorry.
Is he really well, I don't know. Like I was gonna say, is it really CB Cebulski, or is it whoever's over him? Because I don't know. It just feels like these people are just figureheads with no real purpose other than, I don't know.
They might be. I mean, like they might just be.
I think it's CB Cebulski, and here's a theory. This is just a comic book theory. So here it is. CB Cebulski canceled all the SJW books in the beginning, and well, it was a smart thing to do, and I think it was also to test the waters. Since then, he's gotten a lot of. And this is just a theory, just an assumption. He's got a lot of loud people because we're all blocked. Remember, people saying, "Oh no, you should have brought this back. You shouldn't have catered to the haters. You shouldn't have catered to the Nazis." And all he's been hearing is this one side who's saying that these books are very, very important. And that's a horrendous but very powerful word with people who believe in identity politics. Important. And I think that's why we're seeing a resurgence. But that, once again, that's just my theory. Well, I don't have any inside track or anything like that.
And that's part of the problem you run into. It's like when you start, I know I got to really say it's the problem you run into, but sadly, but true. You start looking at a lot of stuff when you're wanting to see something or looking at something, and it's like you have a small crowd of people that are going, no, 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 and they just keep crying, whining, screaming, and yelling. You know, and like I'm gonna take a really good example of this. You go to Colorado, right? You got all these assholes smoking pot on the side of the street, walking around smoking dope, and I go out there and have a cigarette, and I get a ticket. Now explain that crap to me. And this is where that identity politics crap comes into play. Because I'm a smoker, I'm damn and dirty, but you're smoking a joint, getting high, and you're getting kids high around you, and your shit has more carcinogens than my cigarette, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It's a double standard. And that's what pisses me off, is there's all these double standards and they don't stop to think.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like that's the problem. Like the double standard exists because they don't actually think.
I have to admit, I was working and my computer froze up, so all I heard you, and that's what they don't stop to think.
I said, like,
everything.
if you go to Colorado, you'll have people smoking joints on the side of the road around kids and families and everything, and it's okay. But if I go and light a cigarette, I get a ticket. Which is a true story.
It's weird.
And it's all because of this double standard.
It just rang, so I'm going to head out. All right. So I'm going to head out. You gang, y'all have a good time.
All right, later,
Thanks for having me, Corrupt.
All right, later, man. Nice having you.
Fuck you, bro.
Yeah. Have fun.
I'll try. I'll remember not to talk too much to your voice. It's like smooth butter. Sorry, guys, couldn't help that.
Smooth peanut butter.
I'm more of a fan of the crunchy myself.
Oh shit! Let me see. How many people are in here? We can probably just move this over to Discord. Actually,
I mean, it's up to you, man.
all right. This has been going on forever, so let's just go to Discord.
Did you get
Hey,
anything good out
Mr.
of
Marvel is in the chat, though. I mean,
What's up?
Did you get anything good you can cut and paste out of this?
Yeah,
Other than me being a white racist.
I mean,
we need well, technically, you're like the token here, so we need as much white supremacy as we can get. Jesus Christ, we got
Dude, I don't even believe in white supremacy. I think all of it's bullshit. Everyone's gonna look the same in about 100 years, anyways.
True. We got damn. Actually, technically, you're like a marginalized person too because you had brain damage. So we don't have any like cis hetero white males here.
no. We're just a bunch of degenerates who are self-hating people of minorities because we like our white heroes apparently.
Gerbil. Oh yeah. Gerbil went on some rant that I wanted to read. Let's see.
Man, if they didn't mess up Static Shock, I like Static Shock. Static
So
Shock.
did I actually.
Well, they didn't really mess up Static Shock. He just kind of like went away for a while, and he came back for a miniseries. Wasn't too bad, but it wasn't great either. And then they kind of like tried to put him on the Teen Titans for a bit, and like one thing led to another. I don't think they have like a good idea for Static right now, and they're just trying to like plug him in anywhere they think he'll fit, kind of thing.
That's one of the big issues.
Yeah,
they're just trying to plug and play. You can't do that, dude. That's an awesome steam engine.
I know, right?
Oh, I'm looking at all these sci-fi pictures and shit.
Oh shit! Mr. Marvel just got here. I feel like such an asshole.
I know, right? I mean, like, what? We could have invited. We could have got an invite to Mr. Marvel.
Wait, Mr. Marvel, do you have Discord? If you don't, like,
he does. He's actually on the Discord. He's never online though.
God damn it! Hey, Mr. Marvel is here just in time for us to leave. God damn.
I mean, if he wants to jump on the Discord though, he can definitely jump and join us on the Discord if he has time.
So my question for you all before we jump off.
Yes.
If you run into an alien chick, does it need to have 3 titties, 4 titties, 2 titties? What color skin?
I've had this discussion. Skin color, I don't really care. My argument on the titties is I'm more of it has to have an even number. I mean, like, so 2, 4. I mean, I'm okay with this, but like,
that's so weirdly specific. Like, she has to have an even number of like breasts. Otherwise, I just can't enjoy it.
I don't know. It's a weird thing, but it's
like if she had a vagina on her stomach, it'd just be weird.
Like, so, like, what are you strictly on the only 2, or like, what about you?
Like,
I mean, are you okay with 3, or
if she had 3 breasts, I would be okay. I would probably be okay with if she had like a vagina on her leg.
Like, that's fair. That's fair. I mean, like, I'm a strange person though, so I mean, I'm willing to admit that.
I care less about the number of breasts personally, or the skin color. It'd just be something new.
That's fair. I mean, like, the skin color, I really could care less about.
Because once again, I'm going to go back to my argument number 1. They all look the same in the dark.
That's a fair argument. That's a fair argument.
But
that doesn't work.
My argument is that.
What if she glows in the dark, though?
Like I said, then my argument doesn't work.
Okay, my argument is that every hole is a goal. That is my argument. Every hole is a goal. They mess up all of Milestone. Okay, this is what Gerbil said. Because she didn't. We haven't read this out. Beyonce is shit. Riri was rushed. And let me see.
America works on a team.
Yeah, New Wasp and her girls or women can't science. Yes. Marvel used Trump on art, now DC runs over them. Look, in the 80s, 90s, Marvel ran hundreds of books. They dropped loads of them. Where's the bottom one here?
I think my favorite one is about like when it comes to the Wasp Science Girls thing. They're like, it's okay. Our friend has a bomb in her neck. Sleepover party, guys. Like, let's get some lattes and all that. Like, no one was worried about that for like what 5 issues.
The Wasp, has he written anything else or just the Wasp?
I don't know. But like, it's okay. Your friend just has a bomb in her neck. You know.
Also, let me see. They messed up all of Milestone. Headlamps and chrome need to have wheels, no propellers.
You know,
Gerbil
I could see Switch looking like the guy from I can't remember the movie.
From what?
From your voice, there's a guy from an old movie where he's wearing like a red Speedo with a bandolier, carrying a gun and like thigh-high boots.
All right.
I think it was from the 80s. I could see Switch doing that.
All right. I got to go in a few minutes anyway, so I'm going to stop broadcast and we can go over Discord.
That sounds good.
All right. Later, everybody.
Peace, guys.
Later. Have a good